So this might not be super fun for you both because you kind of helped live this story with me, but I feel like I'd be remiss not to take the cold open opportunity to tell my travel adventures this month. Do you agree?
But yeah.
Oh boy. So I visited y'all earlier this month, and because so a year ago, Dua Lipa announced the Radical Optimism tour, and I was heartbroken to find she would skip Denver. So of course, you were both gracious enough to let me stay over while she was doing her performances at the Kia Forum. So I bought these tickets about a year ago, and some of my coworker, I was like, "Oh, the Dua Lipa show is this weekend. That's why I'm off Monday." And some of my coworkers were like, "Is that the same show you talked about getting tickets for a year ago? Did she reschedule?" But I'm simply that devoted. So I worked that Friday because scheduling was just weird, and Frontier and Southwest only go to Burbank certain days of the week. So I had to arrange to go to LAX instead. And it was a whole fucking thing. And Friday work was just not very fun and kind of hard. And I sought unhealthy coping mechanisms in the form of using my lunch break to go to the kind of sketchy Chinese restaurant by my school. That was mistake number one that will haunt me. I get off work. As you are probably both aware, you have to pay an extortionate amount of money to Uber to and from the airport. But my flight was at like 6. It's 4. I'm like, I gotta get there as soon as possible. I would take the train, but that's not happening today. I Uber, it's like $40. Not pretty expensive, but not the worst it possibly could have been. Go
Yeah.
through security, all that jazz. Flight's delayed. And at this point, if we had a crystal ball, we'd all be billionaires. But I can't help but think about being $40 poorer and when I could have taken the train if I knew the flight would be delayed. Truly no way to know the flight would have been delayed, but that's just life. The flight delays about twice. I'm texting Willow updates. It was supposed to take off at like 6. It gets to the point where it's delayed till about 8. The good thing is that the time travel would be on my side. I would still get in a little earlier. I'm waiting. I'm getting kind of livid at this point. The stress of knowing I'm probably going to spend money at the concert. I'm probably going to need to lift around a bit more when I land. Willow, of course, is going to help me here and there, but are points where I am still going to spend money on lifts. And I just get really worked up and fucking livid. Oh, I could have saved so much if I didn't lift. I'm, fucking pissed off at this point. I'm texting my mother because she wants to know every single update when I'm at the airport to make sure my plane doesn't crash, which, knock on wood, reasonable. And anytime the flight's delayed, which it has now been twice, she goes, "Why is it delayed?" Because she expects me to know, like I'm principal of the plane. And I am in my sour mood, and I just say, God is punishing the Italians for the incursions of the Romans towards Jesus. And my mom fires back, "You're more Irish than Italian," which I don't think is true. So I say, "Then he's making us pay for the Chicago fire." To which my mom responds, "He already did that with your grandpa's ALS." And I'm like, okay, fair.
You're like, oh Jesus. Well,
Yeah, no, that's why I was kind of like, okay, maybe my life, I shouldn't be so pissy. It's delayed so much that I'm like, fuck it, I guess I'll grab dinner. I was planning to not eat till I got there, but it's like 7 now. I get in line for McDonald's. Some lady, like, cuts in front of me, and I'm already kind of pissed off, and I just kind of throw my hand up, like, and I kind of scoff, like, I don't start anything. And the guy in front of me turns around, and he's like, "She's actually ordering with me." And I kind of nod, like, "All right, fine." And this guy wants to be an asshole. And I think he can tell I'm pissed off. And he kind of nudges, like, "Does that make sense to you that she's ordering with me?" And I hiss back, "I follow what you're saying." And we wait quietly. And I get a double quarter pounder. And I angrily scarf that down. And that is now brewing with the sketchy Chinese food. We have a gate change. It is delayed again till at least 9 or so. And when there's a gate change, it's like mass exodus. It's like a stampede. We all are fucking trudging across the airport. I'm figuring out where to sit. This next part is going to sound like I'm bragging. As the story progresses, you'll find that's not the case. I decide to sit and wait adjacent to, I would describe, three cartoonishly attractive women who are on their way to a party in LA. And I'm like, fuck it, we'll be here a while. I might as well try and strike up. And I just like really sheepy. I nudge one of them and I'm like, hey, are you headed to LA too? Do you know what's the deal with the delays? And they get all excited. They're like, what? No, do you know about, is it delayed again? And it turns out they were afraid to like ask questions about the delay. And I think they were waiting for a guy with glasses to like be the Karen for them and talk to the people at the front desk. And when three party girls want you to complain to management for them, you say yes. Yes, you do.
Oh, I
So
see. So
I
now you're being the I was the Karen in the last story, but now it's your turn.
Yeah.
But you were Karen for selfish reasons. I was doing it for virtue of three beautiful ladies. So
I was
we're
doing it
not
for
the
virtue of everybody in that theater who cares about aspect ratios, and it turns out I'm the only one who was there who that fit. So continue.
So I do them that favor. We talk a while. They seem to take something of a shine to me. At least, they're very friendly. Finally, the plane starts boarding. They each have a half full beer that you can't take on the plane, and they're like, "Let Tommy finish it. Drink, chug, chug." And when three beautiful party girls tell you to chug their beers, you say, "Yes, you do." I'm not normally a beer drinker. But I was like, what am I going to do? Refute? And I throw those some bitches back, and we all pile onto the plane. We're not seated next to each other, to be clear, but that is now a hastily eaten quarter pounder, sketchy shrimp lo mein from a Chinese place, and three half drinking beers or so, collectively, creating a Pandora's box in my stomach. Finally, we get on. There's an empty seat between myself and my neighbor. It's perfect. Flight takes off. I'm chilling. My stomach feels a little funny. And I go, Tommy, outside of emergencies, you don't use the plane bathroom. Like, I'm just above that. I just wait till I land. As the flight progresses, it becomes staggeringly apparent that I don't have a choice. And eventually it's not a matter of am I going to use the bathroom in the flight bathroom? It's going to be, am I going to throw up in the airplane bathroom? And I get up and I rush to the back and I pass those three beautiful ladies again who wave me down and go, hey, do you have any gum? And I shake my head and I swing open that door and I released some liquid cargo. And I think everybody could fucking hear me. And the Love Actually fantasy scene waiting for me in the back row of that airplane probably got like entire earful of myself not able to handle half the beers that they gave me. And I exit. Everyone heard, of course. The stewardesses are super nice about it. They sit me back down, and they give me a bag as well. And I find I'm not done. And from my seat, I am just like throwing up, continuing to. The poor lady in the seat next to me with an empty spot next to me is like not hiding, but like recoiled in a corner. And I'm kind of like, lady, I feel bad. Like, I get it. Like, no one wants to be around this, but also, like, I feel bad enough, all right? Everyone throws up. Who cares? And the stewardesses, like, get me a wet towel, and they're, like, super nice about it. A lot of people, I just, like, am looking nowhere but at my bag because I'm not going to make eye contact with someone while I'm puking. And eventually the plane lands, of course. And people start to, and, over the intercom, they're like, we have a connecting flight. Please make sure, people attending to that connecting flight can go first. Nobody hears this. Everyone except me stands the fuck up. And there are some frat boys fucking pissed off at this. And like, I'm like still throwing up while some guy is like, listen to the fucking lady! She said to let us off first! Our plane to Taiwan takes off in 15 minutes! And like the stress is like just getting to me, and I am still fucking throwing up. I hear just someone mutter, like, this is the fucking flight from hell. People start to pile off. One of the attendants grabs like the intercom thing, and he's like, now, I appreciate you all listening. Welcome to sunny Los Angeles. But there's still one guest who would like to talk to you. And I don't know what the fuck is going on as this guy starts to go, it's Yoda here into the intercom, like doing a Yoda voice and not talking backwards like Yoda, I would also point out. Just being like, Yoda wants you to sign up for a Frontier credit card. No-
That straight up seems like an I think you should leave bit.
yeah, just like trying to cut through the tension of everything on this flight.
Just like, okay, thanks Yoda.
And I get off, and I'm in LAX for the first time, and everyone says LAX sucks. But I have to imagine a pretty small percentage of the people who make it known that LAX sucks did so while enduring poison damage. So I am like traversing the largest airport in the US while there is like a poison bomb still in my stomach. It is like a small country that you have to take shuttles, two other shuttles across. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I finally get to the lift depot where they'll drop me off to where I was meeting Willow and Jay. And Los Angeles Lyft drivers are trained like crazy taxi characters because it's Los Angeles. I really can't blame the guy. But as you can imagine, this causes about 5 or so that evening. And I did not do it in the Uber because I'm not going to lower my star rating, but I stumble out, tipped him, bid him farewell, 5 stars, and unleash a bit more. Find a trash can. Willow picks me up, drives me home to her place, and Jay's and Dav's. And at this point, I dread to imagine. I'm like, I bought these tickets a year ago. I need to go to this concert. If I feel like I do right this second as I'm going to sleep, I don't know if I can make it happen. Like, I think I might have fucked myself. I sleep. Sleep is how the body heals. Wake up, and I think I tell you both, I'm feeling like 75%. We have to change, disappointingly, we couldn't do the all you can eat sushi that we planned to because that would have been a disaster, I think, if I tried. But I'm like, I feel up to going to Dua Lipa. I don't feel 100%. My stomach still hurts a little. I'm good. I bought these tickets a year ago. I'm not gonna fucking miss it. Willow drives me to the Kia Forum, and the opener comes out. It's Syl. She's awesome. And eventually, opener exits, and there's some like intermission music. And I'm sitting in my seat. I picked up a ginger ale to feel okay, and I need to run to the restroom. And I'm like, I just know the second I get up from my seat, Dua Lipa is going to come on stage. And I wait for, I'd say, half an hour. And every minute that passes is any minute now. It's gotta be. Eventually, I simply decide, okay, I'll be able to hear from the restroom if she's like entering, and I'll be able to rush back. I'm at a pretty good seat for that. I time it just right. When I return to my seat from my restroom break, she comes on stage. She has her feathery end of an era set. It is exactly what I dreamed of every day for the entire fucking year that I waited to go to this concert. And I did not imagine it with an upset tummy, but it did not matter. I sipped ginger ale. I white boy danced in the audience. She did Falling Forever inside a fire pit. She covered The Chain by Stevie Nicks. She took selfies with fans. One of them tried to touch her butt, and I saw it on Twitter the next day. It was an unforgettable experience. Crowd files out. Every bathroom has a line out the door. and I have a 40-minute lift ahead of me. And I'm like, I'll try and make it. And Willow, do you recall what? I can still safely say I did not throw up in an Uber. But Willow, what happened when you let me into the apartment?
So we like came in and you were like, "Yeah, it was a lot of fun," you know? And then I come down to be like, "Hey Tommy, I'm going to bed." And I just hear in the downstairs bathroom, "Yeah."
I felt real, but you know what? I went into that concert being like, there's a non-zero chance I poop my pants or throw up at the Dua Lipa concert. But that's a worst case scenario where at the very least I go viral and I still have a 5-star Uber rating and I only threw up in my best friend's bathroom. So
Yeah,
I
see,
call
there you
that a
go.
win. I call that a win. And I saw all of Dua Lipa and no one can say I didn't. It was wonderful.
Do you know, Tommy, how much of
yeah.
this could have been avoided if you were just gay?
What do you mean?
That's
Oh,
true.
You
because
wouldn't have
then I
chugged
wouldn't
all
have.
those beers to impress those fucking rom-com fantasy women on your plane. Or alternatively, you could be like me and just have like a parent who drank themselves to death, and then you could have like an excuse to tell them like, "Oh, no, actually," and then like make them feel really guilty, and then you don't have to do it.
Jesus Christ.
Select your character.
Rev up those fryers and fill your champagne glasses to the very tippy top. I'm Tommy, and you're listening to West Coast Toast and Roast, starring Willow, Dav, and yours truly.
Get ready for the next battle.
Welcome back to West Coast Toast and Roast. I am given Catholic guilt by my family's death by ALS disease that I numb by drinking, and I'm Tommy.
And I am given, I don't know, guilt about all the Bionicles that I couldn't save back when they were at my house, and I'm Willow.
I have Catholic guilt as well from a childhood spent in churches and shit, and it was terrible. And eventually I got type 1 diabetes after I left the church, and I think that's not necessarily a coincidence. And I'm Dav.
um, yeah, well, you know what? I still got those airport girls Instagrams. So truly I wouldn't trade it for anything. Um, we have a light news month, but a cool little podcast ahead of us. We're starting as always, not as always, because I declared we would alternate starting last month with trailer Life or Death. Uh, I gave you 3 trailers that we've watched intermittently while hanging out, but I wanted to round them all up and talk about them because I'm kind of pumped for all of them. The first one is Send Help. This is the new film by Sam Raimi of Evil Dead and Spider-Man fame. Um, Fresh out of Multiverse of Madness. Get it, ass, because that movie blows and sucks. But this is a non-IP piece of original horror. I heard about this being in production a while ago and described as Castaway meets Misery. You've got Rachel McAdams, who plays a put upon, looked down upon office worker. She takes a trip with her boss is always fucking mean to her and talking down to her. The American dream. She takes a trip with him. They crash land in their plane on a desert island. They're the only survivors. His legs are broken. He relies on her for survival, and things get like fucked from there. She's the one in charge. She's covered in mud and blood. It looks fucking rad. It's gonna get all fucked up. It's Sam Raimi back to being freaky and not being like, "Ew, the pizza is orbs here." It's like a hard life for me right now. We're so back. We're in there.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. It looks creepy. I guess the thing about Misery too is like obviously the author didn't deserve it, but from the trailers it seems like this CEO asshole does deserve it, and that has me like, oh ho ho ho. Let's
Yeah.
I'm ready to see this billionaire get fucked. Hard life for me too. This looks awesome. I love Sam Raimi. I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah, you just had to say new Sam Raimi, and I'm gonna give it a life.
Oh yeah, I'm pumped. I love and it's Rachel McAdams, one of who, you know, exceedingly talented actress, but has like kind of thankless. Oh, she's Sherlock Holmes's girlfriend, and she's Doctor Strange's girlfriend, and now she gets to be like Lord of the Fliesing it up and like covered in gunk. I'm so fucking there. Um, our video game trailer of the month is Skate Story. This is published, I believe, by Devolver Digital. I feel like I've been seeing trailers for this for a long ass time, at least a couple years or so, of this cool looking, pointy, crystalline glass character skateboarding around. They say he's in hell. I don't know how literal that is. But it's like this really cool crystalline world. I think skateboarding games are pretty fun because it's kind of like golf. I think it just the physics translate well to games and cool things you can do with it, even if you have like zero skill for it in real life. This has finally been dated to come out early December. So I felt pretty safe throwing this into the rotation. I'm trying to pace myself with like release date trailers for these kinds of things. And it's a pretty hard life for me too. I think this looks really rad. I feel like this has been a pretty strong year for indies, and this kind of quietly rolling out in December, I think is going to do really well for it once, the Hollow Knights and the Hades kind of quiet down a bit. And I think I could see this making something of a name for itself.
Yeah, I don't know. A skating game, completely out, but what they're doing with it looks really, really cool. This is it's definitely a light life for me because I don't know how much I'm gonna enjoy a skating game. But I mean, it does look really cool. So I do think overall I'm looking forward to it. It's pretty positive.
I will give this a pretty hard life because I do really appreciate the style of it, and I do tend to enjoy skating games. At least I really liked Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. I don't think that this is going to be quite to that level for me, but it still looks very enjoyable, and I do appreciate the style.
Nice. I'm Last topic, our TV show trailer. I'm way more curious to hear what you both think of this one for reasons that'll become apparent. This is Plurbius, the new show by Vince Gilligan.
Pluribus.
Pluribus. I did not pick up on how that's how you say it. By Vince Gilligan, creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. But this looks like something of a far cry from those. I mean, not tonally necessarily. It's Rhea Seehorn of Kim Sexler fame. But this looks more like a bit more of a sci-fi Twilight Zone-ish kind of piece in that, as far as I can tell, in some oblique terms, it's a world where everybody is happy, and Rhea Seehorn plays our protagonist, who is the only unhappy person, who is surrounded by people trying to, like, cheer her up. And I feel like that description makes it sound really fucking rinky dink. Like, it's not as cartoony as I make it sound, but it also seems very committed to its premise. I'm kind of the outsider here. I'm not the big Breaking Bad fan that either of you are. I'm much more curious to hear what you both think.
Hard life. This looks fucking awesome. Vince Gilligan, I mean, he's just like, there's a reason Breaking Bad has endured so long. And y'all know me and know that I am a bit of a sci fi girly. So having like that writing with a sci fi concept, um, just like I genuinely don't think I could be more excited. I'm really curious for this. This is a hard life.
Do you think this could hold a candle to Severance in your consideration?
That's hard because Severance, do you mean like in general or like for the year?
Either or, little column A, little column B.
Gosh, I don't know because I don't know. Severance is something special and it's like over the past two seasons has been built up so much. Um, I guess it truly depends on like how the concept is executed. Um, Honestly, I think if they make it even more sci-fi than Severance, it definitely has a chance. I do love like hard sci-fi stuff.
Deal. Okay.
I'm gonna echo the same thing, basically. It's, you know what, not only is it a hard life, I'm gonna give it a bravo Vince,
Very true.
because, like, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad are my favorite shows of all time, period, comma. And I am so excited to see more from this because, like, I think that Vince is really just an excellent storyteller in general, and I think that he plans a lot of things well ahead, and I think that that's like a huge strength that isn't super common in television, especially today. And I know that there are a lot of reasons for that. Like, you never know if your show is going to even get renewed for a second season, let alone the multiple seasons in advance that Vince has sometimes been able to seemingly foreshadow things. So if this ends up being like a longer series with like multiple seasons attached to it, that'll be fantastic. If it's just like a shorter self-contained thing, I think that'll still be cool too. But whatever he's doing, I'm there for it.
Good deal. Yeah. Was there any other? You mentioned that, and I'm not saying this is like a crossover, but it does seem as though it films in like a suburb from Breaking Bad, like from that New Mexico setting.
It takes place in Albuquerque, same as Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and some of the filming locations seem to be pretty much the same.
Hmm. Did he like grow up there?
I don't know.
Okay, fair. I was just curious.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah, nice little round of you know what? Last trailer life and death of the year, cuz next month if we rotate per planned, it'll be two news and a lie. And would you believe it? It's the fourth annual Toasties.
Is it really the fourth already? I thought it was the third.
No, yeah,
No, you're right. It
first
is the
yeah,
fourth. Yeah.
we had the year of me winning nothing and was the first year. Then the second year we introduced best performer and best playable character. Third year, we introduced the group categories: biggest shit show, hype cycle, so on, so forth. Willow, you have been talking all month long about a certain maker of peace, a certain peacemaker. Do you want to tell us a little about that?
Sure, we going on to group topics?
Pretty, yeah. Unless we had something else to slow down about.
No. Yeah, Peacemaker season 2 ended and I liked it quite a bit. Um Yeah, I know. I think, Dav and Jay and I watched the finale all together. And I don't know, overall it was just like a pretty perfect like step up from season 1. It felt like way more character focused.
Hmm.
Vigilantes fucking hilarious. Um Yeah, everyone just does like an incredible job, and I thought the ending was really good, but also really sad with what happens to Peacemaker. Um, let's just say he won't be getting up anytime soon.
There, I keep seeing people point out, I don't think Chris wears his superhero costume throughout the season, and or at least not his helmet. And because it is such a deep, like, intentionally in a deeply character-focused story, compared to season 1 being a good James Gunn superhero adventure. And this one still is that, and it still has action, but it is much more about the emotional complex of Peacemaker and developing his character.
Yeah, exactly.
I forget, Dav, did you finish season 2 as well?
I did, and there's a funny story behind that, which is basically that the day before the season finale aired, Willow asked me if I thought it would be possible for me to completely catch up with the series in time for the finale. And at this point, I was on like episode 6 or 7 of season 1.
Say that again.
And I said, no way is that happening. And then so I just like spent the next workday, instead of really getting anything done, just binging the entire show up to that point. So I did in fact get it finished, but I did it all over the course of like a day.
You got paid to watch Peacemaker.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, Peacemaker, for the uninitiated, it's a spin-off of James Gunn's Suicide Squad. John Cena's character, who's kind of a nationalist motherfucker in that first appearance in Suicide Squad. Over season 1, you see him soften up a bit, you learn a bit about him, he makes some friends, the 11th Street kids. Season 2 is like fully retconned into the same world as Superman. You do have you have a callback to season 1 where you see the silhouettes of the Justice League per like the Snyderverse, and that is just like effectively retconned to be the Justice Society per Superman, which I thought was kind of a cute touch. And you see a few characters pop up there. So when the first trailer for this dropped, and we did see that tease of one Peacemaker pointing a gun at the other from an alternate universe, I truly thought it would be there's a Snyderverse Peacemaker and a new James Gunn verse Peacemaker. But it seems like they've just fully been like, oh wait, this was always in this one, just funnel it over, which like, fair, honest, like, all good.
There wasn't enough cohesion with the original DC universe to even really make that difficult, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it was literally just the ending scene.
Yeah, I feel like the tone has always been much more in line with what we have now, that it's hard to complain about. It's all good. I agree this season was really good. I think Christopher Smith is a great character. One of my mains in Mortal Kombat, I'd say. I think that I do have like a small nag that we're almost approaching the point where this was a show about virtually fully original characters, with Christopher Smith now almost bearing no resemblance to his comic self, which, is not bad inherently, but I did where my head is just going in a billion. I do think that they introduce a lot of, James Gunn, I think, is a slightly more sly writer than people give him credit for. People were kind of up in arms and mad about the finale because he promised cameos and concepts from the comics, and it was largely, Lex Luthor's technician. I think he overpromised a tad. People don't realize the location that the finale sets up, as I speak vaguely, is where probably my favorite DC comic of all time takes place.
The Salvation Run.
Yeah, I wasn't going to spoil it, but I guess here we are. Yeah, they set up Salvation, which is a pocket dimension used to abandon supervillains and get them out of society. Salvation Run is one of the best comics ever made. It is all about virtually every major DC villain you can think of being stranded on this distant planet and kind of Lord of the Fliesing it. And, Joker leads a tribe in favor of staying and embracing chaos there. Lex Luthor leads a faction in favor of ingenuitizing an escape. It's so fucking good. And it's a shame that most comic fans are illiterate, because they saw this and did not get hyped and thought James Gunn promised nothing when he actually put one of the biggest DC things ever on the fucking table.
I do wonder how much they're actually going to be able to do with that. Unless Peacemaker Season 3 comes out in like 4 or 5 years.
Sorry to interrupt. I think there was something that James Gunn said that like there is not going to be another Peacemaker season, but the characters will appear like in other shit.
That makes sense.
I'm open to that. I think we've got a Clayface movie coming less than a year from now, which I can imagine ends with he goes in the portal. I think there's like whispers of a Bane and Deathstroke movie. Again, kind of similar case. I could see Lex Luthor winding up there. I think it's starting to come together. I like this season overall. I wonder if y'all agree with me. I felt a couple characters here and there went a little underserved. I'm still not sold on Amelia Hardcore and Christopher Smith liking each other. I think that was I'm not sold on it. How are you all on that one?
I mean, I like it. I think just based on, it shows that Chris has grown a lot, and so has Hardcore. I think it definitely works. But I understand why you might think it doesn't.
I'm just not sure where the light switched, because it seems like she didn't like him, and then she meets him in Nazi world, and like it's like, well, I guess I like him now. I didn't really see where that flip occurred.
I think it's more so like she always liked him, but she was worried about, like she was saying, being,
Vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
And, when you put it that way, she did practically lose him, and it was no small part her fault when she was put in that tough position. So, yeah, if I were, I could see that. I wish we explored that a little more. I could see that as a lateral move.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Yeah, we've got this bizarre Michael Rooker Eagle Hunter character that kind of goes nowhere. I don't know if they're planting seeds for something else with the shamanistic eagly powers or what. I thought that was a little strange, honestly. Big shout out to Tim Meadows, who plays Langston Fleury.
Oh my god, so fucking good.
I believe he's a fully original character created as a member of Argus, the Cadmus adjacent corporation. And it's Tim Meadows of SNL and SNL adjacent projects fame. If you don't know him by name, if you Google him, you'll be like, oh, this guy. And he's fucking hilarious. And he just has this, distinctly alien manner of speaking. Like he sees everything that comes out of his mouth is a vocal stim. He sees Adrian Chase and goes, oh, this motherfucker catched all the Pokemans. He's the fucking best. Everybody hates Rick Flag Sr., and I agree that guy's a cuck and a loser. Gosh. I don't know. But still a good season. I hope Flag Sr. gets fucking killed in Salvation Run. I think he has it coming.
Big agree on that.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
I'm not his biggest fan either, but I kind of understand. Like, I get it. I get why he's so mad.
I get why he's mad, but it's also just like, but you didn't watch Creature Commandos.
No, I did not.
So that show is about him getting honeypotted by an evil princess and looking like an idiot. And in this, he builds a dimensional prison and loses his cyborg girlfriend. So all he does is whine about his dead son and, like, get cucked a ton, and I don't like him. I don't know. Well, do we have much else to say about Peacemaker?
It's good. Big recommend.
Yeah. Daff, you have a new favorite movie of the year.
That's true. And it's not Good Fortune though. It's not Good Fortune. Good Fortune was pretty good.
Oh no! My movie's not his favorite movie of the year!
Yeah, I don't really like that you do kind of sound like him. But how about before we talk about my new favorite, let's just get Good Fortune out of the way, because it was okay.
It was fun.
Yes, I think that it is the directorial debut of Aziz Ansari, who saw the money his movie made this weekend and went, oh no! It's a very easy voice to do. You can't give me too much credit.
He said, oh no, and then he took off to Saudi Arabia to perform to the royal family to make up for it, I guess.
Oh boy. And so this is directorial debut. It is Trading Places by way of It's a Wonderful Life. All about, he also leads the film. He plays Arj, who's kind of a gig economy worker, does DoorDash and TaskRabbit, or, their distinct equivalents. Excuse me, sorry. He is watched over by an angel called Gabriel, played by Keanu Reeves, who, he is in charge of stopping people from texting and driving and saving them from saving their lives from car accidents. So I imagine Willow's not happy with him with that in mind.
Yeah, what the fuck?
who basically says, "Hey, I'm going to prove that money doesn't solve all your problems and switch your life with rich Seth Rogen." Switches their lives, and as they aptly put it, I tried to show him money wouldn't solve all his problems, and it seems to have solved all of his problems. So they have this very clever take on the switcheroo where you find that money and privilege like that does fucking matter, and it becomes a little more about Seth Rogen learning about how the shoe is on the other foot. I thought stretches of this movie kinda sucked, honestly. It's a first-time director, and I think chunks of it are very flatly put together. Not that it had to be bombastic or huge, but it's clearly a first-time director, I would say. And if you saw this at Alamo Drafthouse, wink, which I did, Aziz Ansari had a guest select feature where he brought forward movies that he says inspired this one. And he mentions these like golden era classics like A Matter of Life and Death and what's it called? Sullivan's Travels. Things that are like, things that are so grandiose and have huge ideas and are grandly directed, and presenting those as his big inspirations before, honestly, kind of a humble comedy, I think was something of a disservice. I think it set expectations a bit high. If there is a reason to see this movie, mark my worms, it's fucking Keanu, because he is on exactly the wavelength he needs to be. He's fucking hilarious in this.
He is really good in this, yeah.
He plays that, like, the extreme sincerity and, like, slight underacting that's become very characteristic of him in his older age as kind of an overcorrection of some of his overacting in his younger age. And it just plays like he is, naive and a bit ignorant, but, like, so well-meaning. There's these parts where he's trying to, like, clearly parrot, like, a Ghost of Christmas Past or whatever, and he, like, approaches Aziz, and he's like, "Seems this money isn't all it's cracked up to be," and, like, very phony about it, and Aziz is like, "Nah, this is great," and he's like, "Oh, shit." I thought he would be the weak link, because I thought it would be like, the Reddit guy everybody loves is gonna be the guardian angel, but he fucking brought it, and he's what pretty much makes it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought he
Keanu
was
the highlight.
yeah, he was very good. Very good.
You will see
I do agree with you though that like some parts of this movie kind of sucked, and it's like I don't think that there was ever a point where I was like, man, I really hate this or anything, but I feel like the moment where Aziz's character gets into a car crash and gets into a coma, it feels like they had no idea what they wanted to do after that, because
there's truly no reason this movie needs to be a full 2 hours. This should be 89 minutes dripping wet with credits.
I think it would have been like, and we're gonna, I guess, like minor spoilers here. I think it genuinely would have been so much more interesting if his character actually did forget everything that happened at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he just kind of did remember everything and they just kind of continue from there, barely consequential at all. Kind of just it made it feel like really directionless to me.
And like it spends, I'd say, half an hour just on Aziz when he's poor, and it truly, and you spend like half an hour getting a load of how much his life sucks. Around then he gets a job with Seth. That's a subplot of 15-20 minutes into itself. Then Keanu cuts in. And if one of your pivotal characters is an omnipotent angel, he should watch Aziz's life, watch Seth's life. They barely even need to interact that much. Like, maybe you get to the point where he hires him, and then he steps in. I just saved you 20 fucking minutes right there.
Yeah, it's way longer than it needs to be.
Talented Keke Palmer, also kind of wasted as kind of a thankless love interest. Even though I love her and everything, she just doesn't get to do much in this.
How did True Jackson VP lose her fucking job?
That's a good question. I don't like unions. I don't know about you. I think the ending of this movie also kind of sucks in that it comes off as a little phony to me, honestly.
It's over the top. It's very on the nose, but I kind of don't hate it for that because most of the movie's kind of on the nose. It's like
Yeah.
it's a type of like misery and suffering that most people can relate to, I think, but like taken to an extreme.
Right. I
Yeah.
mostly mean Seth Rogen saving everybody because billionaires will totally do that. Yeah. Just very, tied up into a neat little package. And again, I take it much more authentically, perhaps from Seth Rogen's words than from Riyadh's sweetheart Aziz Ansari about how little money matters. I don't know. But I think, I would rent this at home if I weren't autistically obsessed with going to the movies every week. Again, for Keanu, you will see him eat a cheeseburger for the first time and, like, light up. You will see him learn what taxes are. And it's honestly pretty... And, like, humor like that of, like, oh, he's like, I thought I would at least have some more money for fun stuff. And it just, like, I don't know, it's the kind of thing that if you described it to me, it's like, oh, adulting humor, very whatever. But he sells it. He's really good in it. The character is very authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your... we talked about a movie about an angel. Is it perhaps time to bring up a devil? Or many?
Hey, there's an angel in this one too.
Yeah, true, and he loves ice cream too. He would actually get along great with Gabriel. I'm gonna make Troy draw that and not pay him.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time to talk about my new favorite movie of the year and one of my new favorite movies of all time, Chainsaw Man Reze arc. It's so fucking peak. Oh my god.
It's fucking great.
It was like... Because, like, before this, and they announced this a long time ago, like, this has been in the works for a while, and it comes after a really long drought, specifically from the anime. Like, season 1 of Chainsaw Man, when was that? Like, let's say, like, 4 years ago, almost?
A lot. I was in my old apartment, for sure. I remember that much. Like, 3 or 4 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's been slow going, and even with this movie, they're very far behind where the manga's at this point. But it's both the anime and this film, I think, are just at such a level of quality that I am not too particularly peeved about that. I can still continue to enjoy the story of the manga and then also appreciate the insane cinematic masterpiece that is this and the first season. And I know that first season was kind of polarizing because it's... I don't know. Overall...
Really?
Well, a lot of people, especially in the West, it's very well received. From what I've heard in Japan... They were really disappointed with how, like, I guess against the grain it is for, like, a shonen. It's like how it's so far removed from, like, a JJK or something. It's much more, and you can tell from the opening with just the sheer volume of, like, film references that they're really going for Fujimoto's, like, more Hollywood cinematic style, and you can really feel that.
I always felt... Watching Chainsaw Man, even just like the anime at home, felt more like watching a snippet of a Mamoru Hosoda film than like tuning in for the new My Hero.
It's very like cinematic. It takes huge liberties with the manga and like fights in the manga that are just like a few panels and like stretches them out to these massive choreographed sequences, and I really enjoy that. But I know that not everybody does.
Yeah. So, when they go against the grain of a show, is it like... Because it's a monster of the week thing, kind of, but, it deals with loftier themes than, like, your average... Is it like people don't like the tone or the violence, or...
Well, no, because it's... these are still people who love the the manga, but the
Okay,
the manga's vibe I think is just more low key. Like there's certainly like gore and action and stuff, but it's a lot more restrained, I think.
There is like a certain chaos to how they direct the anime that like doesn't necessarily one-to-one with the manga in the way that the manga is like a storyboard for a lot of anime.
Yeah.
Okay, I follow.
But yeah, until this point, I think the Reze arc was really a standout for me. Like when I first read through the manga, I really, really enjoyed it. And you know, I had the privilege of not having been spoiled on anything at that point, and so it was like genuinely really cool to see everything unfold through there. Because like I had no idea that like what they were doing with this Reze character. Like, who is this girl? Like, what's gonna happen with Denji and her? And so like, you know, obviously that one moment that they capture so well in this film, with not to go too heavily into spoilers, but where they're like when the fireworks go off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just like like when I got the same feel. Like, props to this movie. That one of the biggest things that I can say about it, to its credit, is the feeling that I got when I first saw that happen in that manga panel. I basically felt that all over again watching this movie, even though I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
That tonal shift, the way the colors change and the music changes and everything, it was just horrifying, and it was
The
fucking
sound
awesome.
design, it like startled me in the theater when
It was so cool.
Yeah. I'd also say, you know, the Demon Slayer movie was out earlier this year. No shade at all to Demon Slayer. I love that show as well. I caught Chainsaw Man opening weekend in a way that maybe I wouldn't catch Demon Slayer, as I watched people in like full cosplay, and I have to imagine no deodorant. I think Chainsaw Man fans are maybe a little cooler about it.
Yeah, at least in my theater, it was. I mean, my theater had a pretty diverse crowd. Like, there were like, it was, I would say, almost a practically 50-50 gender split. Even like it was just like a lot of seemingly normal people compared to like a Demon Slayer showing, I guess.
The My Hero movie from a few years ago, it was like all children. I won't do that again, that's for sure.
I saw this in IMAX at the AMC, and that was incredible. Not least because, you know, this is the Bomb Devil arc. It's going to be loud and just in your face and awesome. And IMAX speakers, they had those tuned up like all the way up, because like during that like the big like skyscraper fight sequence, it was just deafeningly loud. It was fantastic.
Man, amazing stuff. You know, small, you know, for everything, Reze herself being the big focus, some of the like all-timer moments from Makima, who is like one of the great manga characters in my opinion, without spoiling too much of her. You know, we have like the very understated but astonishing and memorable as far back as the manga, the bit where she sees 10 movies in a day and doesn't react to any of them until the very last one, where she's just shedding a few tears, and it's become the famous meme of "this is so ass." But you know, she's not like present throughout. She's in the movie, but like really beginning and end, and she has, you know, the start and end are, I'd say, some of her defining moments, of no small part of what makes that first chunk of Chainsaw Man so memorable.
Yeah, and this arc is very much a Denji arc, and like secondarily an Aki arc. It's a major point of character development for Denji that I really love to see. Like, you know, like Power's barely in it at all.
Right.
We get, instead of like the big buddy sidekick, is Beam, who I didn't really care too much for when I read the manga, but this movie really made me love him. He's great.
He's so good. Shark Fiend. The Angel Devil is also fucking similarly. I was kind of like, I could take or leave him in the manga, but the way he's subtly animated and voiced in the movie is spectacular, and he's I'd say a far more memorable character in this.
He's very cool in that. I said that there was like a pretty even gender split in my theater. Noticeably during that scene between the angel and Aki, there was just like a big you could hear all the women in the theater kind of like cheering a little bit.
Like a lazy boy. What are your expectations for You have some expectations that we've been discussing for Chainsaw Man moving forward. Would you like to speak to that?
I frankly, I kind of just hope that they stick with more of like the movies style, because I do love the anime series style quite a bit. But I think that the movie kind of made the art style a lot more similar to the manga, and that worked very much in its favor. So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, as high budget and super high octane as this film is. I don't expect that much, but if they can keep the art style kind of similar to the way it is, I think that'll be the best way to do it.
This was I might be misremembering, but considering the two major villains left to deal with, this would be like the big expensive fight they pretty much have behind them.
Yeah, because the rest after this, while it is like a lot happens for sure, but it's a lot less like typical one-on-one battle sort of thing, and it is more like drawn out, like here's a bunch of fucked up shit that sums up to a pretty satisfying ending.
It's much more, it's emotionally driven. There are fights, but it's not the Whirlwind Devil destroying an entire city and the Bomb Devil recreating the fucking 99 red balloons. This was like the crescendo of like from a purely action standpoint, and everything after this is much more character
like
centered,
strategic and like tactical between like Mads Mikkelsen's obvious stand-in character and like Makima.
Oh man. Oh, we're gonna get some weird 3D dogs at Makima's house, I feel like.
I suppose if we're gonna get 3D horses in Steel Ball Run, we gotta get 3D dogs at Makima's place.
Tiramisu. Oh, well. Do you have much anything else to share about Chainsaw Man?
Not much more beyond if you haven't seen this yet, go fucking watch it.
All right. Willow. You've also been watching some scary movies. In fact, an entire franchise.
Yeah, so I'm not done yet, but I have to give a very tender and loving roast to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So I wanna overall say that these movies are so fucking fun. And I think the lowest I've ever rated one is like a 6 on Letterboxd. That being said, I can't pretend like they're good. So, first Nightmare on Elm Street, classic, great. Then we get to the second. And I do think the second is like one of the ones that's like, okay, this is actually pretty quality. The thing is, the second is like the gayest movie I've ever seen. There is so much like homoerotic tension in the entire thing. There's like this weird like gym teacher who Freddy spanks to death with a towel in the showers. The main character is just like constantly covered in sweat. The entire plot of it is that Freddy wants to live inside of another man. So I don't know what to tell you. But like I think what the Elm Street films do really well is even if the movie isn't like super super good, I feel like the kills and the effects are always quality. Nightmare 3, The Dream Warriors, is one that a lot of people hold very near and dear, and I liked it, but it's definitely not my favorite of the series. I do think it is one of the ones that like, a bit more just like standard, hey, this is a quality movie. But it is also just like it kind of has that Nightmare like silly feel. Um the characters can like fight Freddy in their dreams, and there's one that gets his like dream powers and then instantly dies, and that's pretty funny. Um
I always remember the needle kill from that one. That one's fucking gnarly.
oh, that one is really good.
I do love
Um
that movie. I'm one of its defenders, but I haven't watched it in a long time though.
I mean, Welcome to Primetime Bitch is a classic.
Uh,
Um and then we move on to Nightmare 4. And this is definitely one of the ones where I'm like, okay, this is a bad movie, but god damn it, it has my favorite interpretation of Freddy because he genuinely just like kind of gave up trying to be serious.
this is like
And
fully Crypt Keeper adjacent Freddy at this point.
yeah, I know was it last night that you showed
Uh,
me the the Freddy rap
yeah.
where like for I think
And
that
yeah,
was for Nightmare
I
4.
was gonna say it was the Fat Boys made Ready for Freddy, and that was composed for the soundtrack of, I believe, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, yes.
Yeah, and like Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund, is like rapping in it, and it's great because it's like, yeah, this could just happen in the series. Um,
He's probably done more ridiculous things.
yeah,
Fucking
I mean, in this movie, someone is like, I think it's like getting swallowed by quicksand on a beach, and Freddy takes out a pair of sunglasses and puts them on. Um,
I think I've seen that GIF, and I always thought it was like a parody or something.
no, see, that's for me too. I always thought it was like a behind the scenes thing.
Oh my god.
Um, but yeah, I think 5 is called The Dream Child, and it's like strangely pro life. Um, there's like the main girl and her boyfriend have sex, and then that night Freddy like comes back, and it's said that he's like possessing her baby. Because the baby's always dreaming, so you
So it's
know
like an evil.
uh
It's like an evil baby like running around.
no, it's like it's still in the womb,
Oh, okay.
and it's just like this is how Freddy like attacks people.
The fuck?
um
Okay.
there are some cool kills. One person gets like turned into like a gross ass motorcycle person. um
They have like
and
really good practical effects. I always see there was a long period of watching like super cuts of just like Freddy Krueger kills, and those seem always just super worth it for the effects in those.
oh yeah. um I do have to bring up, I do think this movie has the dumbest kill so far, but also one of my favorites. There's this guy who's obsessed with comic books, and so in his like fucked up nightmare, he goes inside a comic book and Freddy starts to like fuck with him. And then eventually Freddy beats him by like almost like, I don't know, taking dream steroids or something, but he like becomes this buffed up version of Freddy with like a cape on. And I remember like turning to Jay and I'm like, so is is he like Super Freddy or something now? And then he goes, "It's Super Freddy," which I think is really funny. Um yeah, but but
What's the best Elm Street though? Which would you say?
I think best like objectively is definitely 1.
Hmm,
Most fun is definitely 4.
okay.
And then I think also 2 has like a pretty good story too.
Did you watch 1 in this, like, rerun of all of them, or did you just go right to 2?
We went straight to 2 because I've only seen 1 before this.
Yeah, I remember when we were in, like, college, we watched 1, and it's that kind of thing where the first movie in a big horror franchise doesn't have, like, the killer as often as you'd think. I remember it being a little disappointed that there wasn't as much Freddy as I thought, but I might
Yeah.
appreciate it more today if I went back to it.
Yeah. I mean, well, if you do go back to it, make sure to watch all the films.
Well, wait, or is New Nightmare your favorite, though?
Oh,
You
no,
love
New
that.
Nightmare is my favorite, but I don't consider that an Elm Street film.
Oh, okay. Fair. But
Um,
it is your favorite Freddy film.
yeah, I would say it's my favorite film with Freddy in it.
And got fingered.
Yeah, besides Got Fingered.
We're centaurs, bitch! Look at my hooves. Have you seen Freddy vs. Jason yet?
I have not.
We should do... Okay. Next October, my movie night choices might be Freddy vs. Jason and The Ring vs. The Grudge.
Pretty good idea.
Doesn't Freddy vs. Jason have like a comic book tie-in with Ash from Evil Dead?
Yeah, they have Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. And there's also Jason vs. Leatherface. That'd be a fun thing to explore in a video or something.
You got to talk about the Team Fortress 2 comic before you go into that.
I covered that one in a New Challengers and a Little Things, but also
you got to do like a full like 3-hour video essay.
Okay, fair. I mean, maybe we could all just dub it. Can you
Yeah.
do Spy because you're a little bit French?
Me or who are you talking to?
David, you.
But
Yeah.
she's big French. Pornography.
Dude, that actually is pretty good. They know a little something about... Fuck. I think they know a little more about being gay than you do, pal, because they invented it.
The soldier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, nightmare movies, they aren't always very good, but god damn it, big recommendation to watch them.
All right. And Freddy lives in hell sometimes. Just like the Greek god pantheon sometimes of Hades. Dav, you've been playing Hades too.
I've just been playing it. I beat the game.
Yeah.
And it was quite fantastic, I must say. Our history with this game goes pretty far back. I think they announced this at the Game Awards in, I want to say 2022. So basically the same month that we started doing the Toasties in.
Right.
And if we did the Toasties after that Game Awards, I almost certainly put in like looking forward to this coming out. And they did end up dropping the early access last year, I think it was, like in May. It was right about the time that I got deathly fucking sick and ended up in the hospital, so I had some time to play this early access on my Steam Deck. But I made the decision back then, once I was discharged from the hospital, to just leave it alone until 1.0 dropped, because I really just wanted to get the full experience and the full story. And I must say, I am not regretful of that decision, because now that we have the full story out, I played through the whole thing, at least through the main story. I have yet to complete it and get all the achievements like I did for the first Hades, but I will get around to that at some point. And this turned out really fantastic. The core, I guess, the story that's kind of continuing from the first Hades here is that now you are controlling Melinoe, who is the sister of the first game's protagonist, Zagreus. She was born shortly after the events of the first game, and at some point when she was basically still a baby, Kronos, basically broke into Hades, took the entire family hostage, and now you have basically been raised in the many years that have passed since then by Hecate, who is basically a witch, to ultimately sort of do what Zagreus did in the first game, but instead of Zagreus, whose attempts to escape the underworld sort of ended in kind of just a nice familial sort of plot. Now you are just straight up out to kill Kronos. Your goal with every single run is to, instead of go from the depths of the underworld up to the surface, you start at the surface and go kind of in reverse order, but kind of through different realms down to the bottom to kill Kronos.
I've heard a lot of like Kill Bill comparisons and how this one's like straight up a revenge tale.
Pretty much, that is kind of the hook of this. Like, you have every reason to hate Kronos and be cheering for his downfall and work toward it. Especially when you start to actually like run into him during your runs. He'll sometimes show up pretty early just to kind of taunt you, because it's like genuinely you are so far out of your depth. Like, despite the fact that Melinoi has been training all of her life for this, Kronos is the Titan of Time. Previously it took the combined might of all of his children, the gods, to sort of tear him apart and scatter him across the realm. And now you, who is just like effectively a demigod on your own, trying to kill him, it almost seems hopeless, but you know, just like the first game, little by little you are naturally getting better at the game. You're getting more perks and bonuses over time, as is custom for a roguelite. And yeah, it's just it's a very fun time. There's a lot of new weapons to work with. I feel like the weapons in the first game were pretty basic. It's like, you know, here's a sword, here's a bow and arrow. And right off the bat with this game, they are just very, very different. You have like the dual wielding torches. You have have you? I know you've played a little bit of this, Tommy. Have you unlocked like the coat?
No.
Okay. Probably the coolest weapon in this game, and the exact name of it escapes me, but it is effectively, I think it's one of the last weapons you unlock. And it's not even necessarily the most powerful, but it's basically like this mechanized coat that you wear that has like it basically, like, it gives you gloves that you can use to like cybernetically punch more powerful, and then you also, like, for your special, you have missiles that lock onto enemies and like fire at them. It's so cool. That basically the explanation for that is just like, well, the Titan of Time is kind of not doing his job, so time is kind of all over the place right now.
I like it.
Yeah, it's very cool. If the theme of Hades 1 was orange, the theme, or I guess red, then the theme of this game is green, so that certainly is a pro for me.
So you love it, yeah.
I do think Melinoi is a really great character design too.
She's cool as hell, yeah.
They add some more like gods and characters from Greek mythology. You know, they add Icarus, they add Heracles. One of the final bosses is what's it? Prometheus. Who, of course, having the power of foresight, really is a very difficult enemy to fight, but is, you know, it's such a cool like attack pattern that he does, and I won't go too far into that because that is like later game. But yeah, like what you kind of run into about halfway through the game is that just kind of burrowing down deep and fighting Kronos is not really having too much of an effect, and another sort of situation that you have to deal with is the fact that Mount Olympus is constantly being attacked by Kronos' legions. So you now get the option not only to go down and fight Kronos, but also to go up from the surface to the top of Mount Olympus and help the gods. And I think that really does a lot to like keep things fresh. You're not just taking the same path every time. You
I
have
was
these
gonna
two
say
options.
there's like 2 entrances, but one's blocked off early on.
Yeah.
I was curious. There's a lot of mention of the Titans. Do they pop up?
Well, like Kronos, for example, is a Titan.
Okay.
And like the what you end up fighting at the very top of Olympus is a Titan. I won't spoil exactly what the boss there is, but it's really cool. And I guess to kind of go into some of the bosses from early on in the game, when you're going down into the underworld, your first fight is going to be against Hecate, and that's pretty much just like just a test of strength. Like, she's not going to let you pass, even though you're on the same side, unless she knows you're actually powerful enough to surpass her.
Right.
Because like if you can't beat her, then you're not going to beat Kronos. What ends up happening after that, though, one of my favorite fights in this game is you run into Scylla and the Sirens.
Ooh.
Have you fought them yet, Tommy?
Not yet, no.
So these are effectively the Sirens from the Odyssey, but they are portrayed more of like a girl metal band. With Scylla being the lead, and her just over time, like to put into context the dynamic between her and Malinui, after you beat them for the first time, to more context than that, when you're fighting them, Scylla is the vocalist, and then she has 2 backup musicians as part of the band. One of them plays the keyboard or guitar, and the other one is on drums. Mm-hmm. And as you beat each of them one by one, it'll like cut out that part of the music that's playing, because the entire thing is a performance by them.
Oh.
So you're fighting them to like one of their original songs. But after you beat them for the first time, they write a new song specifically directed at Malinui called "I Am Gonna Claw Out Your Eyes and Drown You to Death."
Oh, that's amazing.
And it's just like this super angry like diss track against Malinui. And it's and then like, later on, I'm not gonna go into spoilers, but there's another song basically in the end game, and it's also very good.
Oh my gosh.
And that's just the kind of like the style and flair that I really appreciate in this game that kind of carries over from Hades 1. There's so much attention to detail and just cool shit like that, and the soundtrack is still amazing. Darren Korb is truly like a goat. Like, the first game soundtrack is amazing, this one is too. Again, I'm not going to go into spoilers. I think this is an amazing game, and people should play it. But I will put out a little bit of a forewarning here. The biggest problem with this game is its ending, and it's pretty universal. I think practically everybody who has played this game was quite let down by it. I didn't hate it, but I thought it needed a lot more work. It feels like they kind of rushed it out, and some people suspect that they might have done that to line up with some release date that Nintendo put in place, because this launched on Switch 2 and I think Switch 1 as like a timed exclusive.
Interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. And they did just drop an update like last week that apparently adds more context to the ending and improves some things there. I have no idea truly exactly what they did with it, but I do think that is needed. But yeah, it's still such a good time that I am not going to like bash it for that. The ending is still like pretty good in a vacuum, and the story overall is fantastic. So I still highly recommend Hades 2, especially if you like the first one.
You did pointedly say, not to put words in your mouth, but when you texted us that it was finished, you did relegate it as a bit lower than the first one. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I'd say so, and I think that the ending is a big part of that. The first Hades, I think, knew exactly what it wanted to be from start to finish, and ultimately everything that happens in that game works to make a very satisfying ending. This one, I think, again, no spoilers, but it's just so antithetical to what you would think the ending would actually end up being that it needs more build up to actually work, in my opinion.
I see. Playing it, like, it's wildly fun, giving it just a quick start yesterday. I'm loving it, and I'll definitely keep going back to it. It does feel kind of like, here's another Hades, instead of here's a bigger Hades. It's a Hades of another color, not necessarily of a higher quality.
Yeah, and I don't think that this game will necessarily take you longer to beat than the first Hades, even though they effectively double the size of it by having, the two different types of runs, either down to the Underworld or up to Mount Olympus.
Okay.
It's still like very streamlined in a way that you're not going to be spending double the time compared to Hades 1 at least.
It's fucking like, it is the kind where I was a little like, I like the first Hades, of course, but trying out the first one, I'm like, I'll give it a try, and then it just like sucks you in because it is so fucking addicting. Just get stronger, and the god boons are just what I'm all about. They added the new one. I know she's not an ice goddess, but that's very much like she's like of the weather, I think, or of the storm.
Are you talking about Demeter?
Yes, yeah, she's new, right? She wasn't in the first one.
She was in the first one, but if I remember correctly, she only shows up in the first one after you've completed a couple runs or something. She's a little bit later.
Interesting. I don't. Maybe my memory's just fuzzy because I didn't remember. I like her.
Because she's Persephone's mom.
Oh, maybe I'm just misremembering. I might just be silly. I like the little old fire lady as well. That is like an A+ character design. She's fucking amazing.
Oh, Hestia?
Yes, yeah.
It's funny you mention her because there was a big, like, it wasn't like super big, but for like a week around this game's release, the right-wing chuds came out and complained about how she didn't look like the version of Hestia that shows up in have you ever seen Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
No.
Do you know who I'm talking about if I say Hestia, the anime girl with like the ribbon under her boobs?
Maybe vaguely. Sounds kind of familiar. I'm gonna double check. Hestia. Are they supposed? Is she supposed to be like? Oh yeah, I have seen this character, and that is an embarrassing thing to complain about.
Yeah, it's exactly the type of people who you would expect to complain about that, complaining about that.
Is she like supposed to be like the Greek god Hestia, or does she just like bear the name?
They both like represent the same god effectively, yeah.
I think little old lady Hestia with like a volcano on her head is a far better character design.
It makes more sense. She's goddess of the hearth, I think. She's not really supposed to be just like a small stacked anime girl or anything.
Right.
Like, I never liked Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon because it's incredibly plain and boring and stupid, but somehow that anime got multiple seasons and I think is still going to this day. I can't believe that shit.
No, I'm not a isekai. Is it an isekai?
No, it's just like gamified fantasy. It's from more around like the Sword Art Online era, so it kind of predates the big isekai boom.
No, yeah. I mean, nothing's normal anymore. Everything sucks lately. Well, Hades 2 is awesome. Shall I, is it okay if I take the wheel?
Yeah, go for it.
Right. I've been playing Pokemon Legends ZA, and I regret to inform you both that I am roasting it. And what's weird...
That.
Sorry?
So I kind of expected that.
Yeah, because we talk outside the podcast, but I was, like, maintaining a fiction.
No, I mean, I expected that before you even started playing.
Oh, well, why didn't you warn me? No, I'm kidding. You did warn me, actually. I just don't listen to you because I'm stubborn. No, what's weird is that I'm kind of a big Pokemon mark. Like, I think I can take a lot of bullshit. I fucking love Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and that game is deeply flawed. And I'm sure you would have tried to talk me out of that one as well. But I don't regret a second I spent in that game. I'm having some, and Legends EA I don't even think is like terrible. It's like okay, but I feel like this game needed to be really fucking terrific to shoulder what it was really living up to, which is like first Pokemon game. It is a Switch 2 edition, but I don't think it's exclusive. Take that as you will. I guess what this one is in the Legends sub-series, so kind of a spin-off, but kind of a secondary. I don't know if that's how I would describe it. Because there was Legends Arceus, which took place in the past, in the Hisui region. This one is in the present of the Pokemon world, in the Lumiose region. So we're back in the setting of X and Y, which you both have strong opposite opinions of.
I don't even love X and Y. It's just the first Pokemon I played was Y, and I didn't think it was too bad.
And Willow loves X and Y.
It marked the first time where I was like, is Pokemon not good?
So this game uses the Legends formula, as it were, and which means it's not turn-based combat, it's real time, in a matter of speaking. I think that, these Legends games care a lot about picking up the pace of Pokemon, which I respect. And that is listening to a very loud, vocal sect of people who want it to go faster. And I wouldn't wrong them for that. That being said, there is a certain je ne sais quoi that does kind of fall by the wayside. Maybe I'm going into this with the mindset of a classic turn-based Pokemon, but I feel like I'm not strategizing nearly as much when you're just mashing buttons to do 3 attacks rapidly in a row. I think they do cool stuff with the real-time aspect. You can bring out your Pokemon on the overworld as you're walking around and do things like break rock. There was a moment early on that I thought was fucking incredible where there was no tutorial to tell me about it. I just came across a big-ass ball of web hanging between 2 buildings, and I brought out my Beedrill and just was like, let's see what happens if I shoot that thing with Pin Missile. And I shot it, and it expands out and makes a bridge. And I was like, oh, that's actually really fucking cool. There's cool shit in here. But, the battling I just find really, there is the stereotype of, the dumb kid that only teaches their Pokemon damage moves. But without the turn-based format, I truly don't feel incentivized to do, status moves or install moves at all. Because the opponent is constantly throwing shit at you and attacking, and my instinct is to just keep piling on damage. These fights move quickly, again, to its credit, in that is serving a certain audience that wants it to be that way, but it does just lose a certain climactic edge to the battle when you're just B, B, A, B for 3 fire attacks, then the other guy falls down like a fucking sack of shit.
I kind of that reminds me, because I haven't played this game yet, but this kind of reminds me of an issue I kind of ran into with the Final Fantasy VII Remake games, and I don't know if you had this problem, Willow, but it's kind of similar, where because the action is just so fast-paced and in real time, I'm not really using spells a lot outside of healing.
I did not find that problem on the FF7 stuff, especially because when you open the menu, it kind of slows down.
Kinda, yeah. But still, I wasn't as into using buffs and debuffs. But yeah, go ahead and continue, Tommy.
You're okay. I do, yeah, and I do just, I don't know. And, like, you know what? I'm a schmuck that loved Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. So maybe I'm just, like, a grandpa who needs his rinky-dink turn-based battles. But even still, what I find kind of a bummer is that, like, Scarlet and Violet, for all of its flaws, had vast fucking exploration. Like, you would explore these gigantic fucking spanning valleys. They look a little janky, but it was a valley full of, like, you know, hidden-ass Pokemon doing weird shit, and, like, prehistoric, like, we found a fucking fossilized prehistoric Donphan, or what have you. This game takes place, at least as far as I've played, and as far as I can tell from other people posting about it, entirely within Lumiose. And Lumiose is littered with, I'll put it this way, you'll come across the odd wild Pokemon just like on the streets, really nowhere near as many as you'd think. Searching for Pokemon to catch is sequestered almost entirely to the wild zones. And obviously Pokemon has done stuff like, you know, similar to the Safari zones, and they've done stuff like that, but truly, you are not coming across wild Pokemon outside of, you know, these, like, fenced-off petting zoos. And it's, you know, you get a checklist of all the Pokemon you can catch in there, and per wild zone, there's, like, 7 or so. And the Pokemon selection is just kind of bland. Like, you're catching the mice from early in each region, and the birds, and maybe a ghost. But, like, I'd put it this way, I'm not feeling emotionally attached to any of my fucking Pokemon, whereas you are riding your legendary first thing in Scarlet Violet. Like, in this, I'm really going through the motions. I think because, again, it moves so fucking... Like, learning moves is something they speed up to an afterthought, where it used to be they make a whole to-do of Swellow wants to learn Air Cutter, so pick a move to delete to make room for Air... Again, I get why people want to do away with that, but now it's Scraggy got the idea for a move, and you have to go into the menu, find it from his list of available moves, which he has like a dozen, determine which one to switch out. Which honestly strikes me as less efficient than stopping the game, saying which move do you want to swipe out if you want to, as opposed to combing through every fucking TM and past forgotten move I have. You pick from like 10 at a certain point. There's, you know, again, kind of cool stuff. The Mega Battles are a little fun, because those commit... You know, those are mega evolved Pokemon that have gone rogue and are rampaging almost like kaiju. And you've got, like, you know, they have a whole crop of new megas. Mega Victory Bell has kind of stolen the show for being so fucking ridiculous. But there is, like, you know, there is a certain feel where you do have time to, like, run in a bit of a circle and evade attacks when it's this gigantic fucking Mega Victory Bell spraying poison everywhere, as opposed to, like, a tiny little Pokemon battle where you're smacking each other around. The Mega Battles are kind of fun with that in mind, and you're incentivized and encouraged early on to Mega Evolve your own, and they give you that opportunity pretty amply. It does kind of make me want, you know, for, like, the Shadow of the Colossus equivalent of, like, taming a Mega Victory Bell and, like, avoiding these waves of acid, as opposed to running in a circle and waiting for openings to, like, spam my Houndoom's Fire Blast or what have you. And, like I keep saying, every Pokemon game has some significant flaws, but, like, there's ways they keep pulling me back. And this game isn't even without them. There's, like, the fun megas. Like, I raised a Victory Bell to have my own Mega Victory Bell. But, and, like, you know, I think Pokemon generally has pretty good character designs and characters. There's fun characters in this. Have y'all seen the Dragon Lady that everyone loves on Twitter and stuff?
No. If I did, I wouldn't know if she was the Dragon Lady.
Fair. Dev?
No, I don't think so.
She's cool. She's like this feral dragon. She's like the dragon. They're not gym leaders. That's a whole nother thing, is how they separate the boss battles. She's like this feral dragon lady, and she lost a battle to the local fairy specialist, who, in their wager, makes her dress like a maid and serve her hand and foot. So she's this, like, evil feral woman who's always dressed like a maid and taking orders from this, like, dainty fairy trainer. It's fucking amazing. It's fucking brilliant.
What's her first and last name?
I think it's, I want to say it's, like, Hyacinth. I might be forgetting.
I think I have seen the maid lady and, like, the person she takes orders from, too.
Yeah. She's got, like, green hair.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Green hair, you say? Maid outfit?
Dev, you got so mad at us for stereotyping you as liking green, and now here you are.
Yeah, now
This
you
is
have
gonna
to
be-
drink the green elixir at Wicked.
This episode is green, because that's what my nail tech said when she painted my nails. And the thumbnail will have Mega Victory Bell, because green. And Jet the Hawk, because we're going to talk about Sonic later, and he's green. Do we have any other green characters in this episode? Guess I'll circle
Just
back
like
to
paint
that.
Freddy Krueger green.
Yeah, green Keanu. I don't know.
Isn't
like
isn't the Hades lady? Isn't she green?
Yeah, she's a little green. Like sometimes
Got, like,
it's
a
the
green
lighting.
arm.
Got green. And this will be the green episode. Green. Yeah, and we talked about this a bit as well, because the whole thing is you rise from rank Z to rank A. And everyone's seen this. I don't think I'm letting the cat out of the bag. A story element has you skip from rank U up to, I want to say, G or so. And it's really kind of, it's disappointing, but also the battles in this are so grindy. And up to that point, you're not battling like interesting gym leader figures. They're kind of fast tracking you to that part by doing that. So it's a little like, okay, I guess, but it still doesn't leave a great taste in my mouth. Like, there's things that are cool, but, you know, as I've conveyed, I'm pretty disappointed with this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can walk the entire city. Like, if you go in a circle, it takes, like, something like 6 minutes. Which is a little bit like, oh, that's a very small map. I love Mega Evolutions, and I really wish they just never did away with them. I do think a lot of the Mega Evolutions in this look kind of stupid, and others are really, really cool. Yeah, I think overall, I don't know. I'm not hearing anything about this besides like, oh, the megas, and oh, these two like girls in it. And I think that is a sign that, like, okay, so this is what you see is what you get. It's just like
I mean, I'm much easier to please than a lot of people for Pokemon, and I'm not even. I mean, I also feel like I'm in kind of a minority where there's people who have at least seemed to have tricked themselves into loving this. I know that sounds awful, but there's people that seem genuinely pumped, and, like, more power to ya. But, like, I'm pretty easy to please for a Pokemon game, and I think this is kind of a bummer.
Yeah. No, I get you. I don't know if I'm gonna play it yet, but I know the DLC should be interesting with, like, Hoopa and stuff, and a few of the, like, leaked megas have me interested.
I might have to come back for my Mega Raichu, because I feel like I've said this every episode, that sumbitch is, like, so great. I might have to at least try it for that.
I see. Her name is Leban. She does have long green hair and kind of the dragon type like look on her face, and she is wearing a maid outfit. All right. This game is already on the way, Willow. Just so you know.
Okay.
Amazon Prime 1-day delivery.
Is
Jesus.
Hyacinth the fairy one then? Maybe I'm just making
Yeah,
shit
she's the
up.
fairy one.
Okay, whoops-a-daisies. All right. Well, best hear me out at the Toasties just got a fucking shake up. I don't know.
It's not really a hear me out. It's just a beautiful woman.
Attractive fucking woman.
I have much worse hear me outs from this year.
She has
Don't
like
you
sharp.
worry.
I don't know. She has like sharp. I don't know. I'm
She
not getting into this.
And Tommy literally did the meme of "Hear me out, guys."
Okay,
literally.
you all gave me. You all were like, "Oh, Tommy likes Hawk Girl and Superman," when she's like one of the hottest women I've ever seen.
Tommy, I don't think the thing about that was that she was hot.
You gave me gay points for it.
That doesn't mean anything other than if you're a straight man and you find her especially attractive. Yeah, I feel
What?
like that's on you, Tommy.
What are you talking about?
Why are you out here attracted to women? That's kind of gay.
Yeah.
Who do you even know here? What kind of girl are you? Get out of here! Willow, you've been playing a game that you've been much happier with.
Yeah. It's Sonic Racing. And I wonder who is here.
Am I mishearing the lyric, or is the opening lyric "Shadow is so fast"? Is that what they're saying?
I don't think so.
That's the opening to the American national anthem, actually. I think you're confusing them.
I feel like it goes. I turn on the game and it goes, "Shadow is so fast," but I might be mishearing.
I've never heard that before. Anyways, Sonic Racing is like Mario Kart, but with Sonic. And pretty much every Sonic Racing game, at least as far as I know in the past, has been like kinda meh. But this one was getting like really good reviews. Hatsune Miku is there. So I was like really, really excited about this. And I played it, and it's fucking awesome. It blows Mario Kart completely out of the water, in my opinion. Not just for like, recent, I can't remember if it's Tour or World is the Switch 2 one. I think World.
Yeah.
But not even that, just like I found myself really invested in this game that I haven't really been in like a racing game since I want to say like I first learned that there were unlockable characters on Mario Kart Wii. This game is ultra fast paced. All the Sonic characters are there. They do this thing called Crossworlds, where it is just like 3 standard laps, but the middle lap is to a completely different stage, which I honestly like quite a bit. In a lot of the promotion, they made it clear that it's like, I don't know, because it's like one of the big things that I think people say about the Sonic racing games is they're like, well, why doesn't Sonic just get out of the car and run? And in especially, like, I think the animation that they did, it shows that it's like, this isn't a race to see who's the fastest, it's to see who can drive the cars the best, I feel like this game in particular does like a really good job of showing like, yeah, Sonic could just run, but it's not about the running, it's about the cars. There is a ton of customization in this game. You can make like custom carts and stuff. I made the trans rights skateboard, and since Minecraft Steve is there now, I made the autism minecart, of course. And like every character is really fun. I do love the cast of Sonic.
They do amazing things with the dialogue in this because everyone has unique exchanges for the rival system.
Oh yeah, it's really funny when like if you're playing as Vector and you're playing against Cream the rabbit, she's like, my mom would be very happy if you let me win. And Vector's like, yeah, well, you can't do that to me.
Like a fighting game intro or something.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, and it does work very well. It's a shame that, like, the DLC characters don't have that because they didn't want to, I guess, like, pay for the voices or, like, there was some bullshit with it. But either way, it is a lot of fun playing as Hatsune Miku and Joker and the Creeper. I think I do think that it's like a bit too Nickelodeon based as far as like the DLC goes. But it was recently pointed out that like Paramount, who owns Nickelodeon, also owns the right to the Sonic movie. So that's probably the connection there. But like I'm not gonna play SpongeBob or the Ninja Turtles or like Avatar. But I do like the like game crossovers. Like I think Pac-Man and Mega Man are really cool. Yeah, the racing is really fun. You can like charge up drifts. The stages are fucking incredible. Like I said, the characters are all fun. I think I very much have few complaints about this game. It's kind of a perfect racing game in my opinion. Just does.
They brought back Extreme Gear, the airboards, in a way that they're actually like playable when those Sonic Riders games are fucking ass, and they kind of redeemed the Babylon Rogues by putting them in a good game finally.
Yeah, that's fair. And like I think I talked about this last month, but like the Babylon Rogues, they're growing on me because like the IDW comics, and they're really fun in this too. And like I said, the roster's really good. I think my one complaint is with the roster, and it's just that it would have been kind of cool to see some of the comic Sonic characters show up instead of just like main game stuff.
Like Ken Pender's characters?
No, like Tangle the Lemur or Surge the Tenric, like the IDW stuff.
IDW.
Yeah, but they should just put like Ken Pender's the guy in this game.
IDW is like different and distinct from Archie, to be clear, David.
Yeah.
Okay, you already mentioned the Autism Mobile.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, it's a Sonic game. What can you say? No, but like I much rather would have rather had like a comic character. Doesn't even really matter who than like Eggpon. But overall, I mean, I just had like a ton of fun playing this. I played all the Grand Prix. It feels, I don't know, it feels very smooth. It feels like once you get your character and your board combo, that it's just like very much like you feel in the zone, but at the same time, it is kind of like Mario Kart where it's not over till it's over. A lot of races I've done have had me come in first and second by like an inch of the other person. I've seen clips online where someone has literally gone from first, been hit with so many items that they go down to last, and they were just at the finish line. And I feel like, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. I like the characters. I like the look of it. I like the dialogue. I think this is a pretty great racing game. Love to hear what y'all think about it.
What you were just describing is kind of my issue with the game, is that I think the way it incorporates items is like not balanced and kind of not fun. I like everything about this game. I still ultimately like it, but I think this game moves so fucking fast that I would describe it as like if you put green shells in F-Zero, which would be fucking insane. And I'd almost rather it commit to being a fully, like, fucking speed-based game than in any way resemble Mario Kart. Because I think that just, like, in Mario Kart, I get hit by an item, I shake it off, it's alright. Something about the items in these games just, like, kneecap you. And because you're moving so fucking fast as well, you just fall and eat shit, and it just, like, ruins your day for a solid 10 minutes. And, like, I think, I would much rather, improve my skills on the drifting and the boosting. I wish they just committed fully to that. Which isn't to say, again, I like this game, but in the higher difficulties, especially, playing through the whole thing, I was just really fed up with, like, the fucking blue shell equivalent ghost and, like, the buzzsaw that puts you out of commission for 2 fucking hours. That was my experience ultimately.
You did ultimately rate Mario Kart World higher than this, right?
Yeah, no, I don't have. I just, for all the flack, I still really liked Mario Kart World. I don't know what to tell you.
I do think that Sonic Racing is better objectively than Mario Kart World, but there is a vibe to Mario Kart World that I think Sonic does not quite capture. Mostly because of like the interconnected courses and the free roam and stuff, which very underwhelming from a gameplay point of view, but from like a just chilling driving around, like that's really, really cool.
Well, I would say, as much as I admired Sega going out on a limb to be like, kind of throw shit at Mario Kart and be like, enjoy the open road, it was also like, well, Mario Kart World does have open world mode, and Sonic kind of doesn't have much besides the Grand Prix, I found, for all the flack people give the open world, I was going back to that for a lot of hours when I was first playing that game. That's just my experience.
That's true. Then like Sonic Racing Crossworld, I think that the maybe the vibe of the tracks isn't as good as Mario Kart, but like the fidelity and just how amazing those tracks just look is incredible, and that's thanks to it being on more advanced hardware that it can actually handle that sort of thing.
The Crossworlds aspect is fucking sublime. Like, I have
really
it's super fun. I think the rival mechanic is what every racing game needs, because you do need that one motherfucker who kind of trails right behind you. Otherwise, they just kind of... Well, and that practically happens in Mario Kart. There's always, fucking Daisy is always up my ass. And in this, they just, like, emphasize it and add a cinematic element with it, which I think is fucking... I like this game. I think that, it was hard not to, like, compare it to... It was hard not to feel a little like it was in a lot of lanes at once. I really enjoyed my time with it, though.
Yeah, I know. I had a blast. I'm looking forward to seeing what some of the other, like, freebie characters are. I know there's probably going to be knights, but, would be cool to see, like, some of the comic characters in there.
Is Ichiban out yet?
I think Ichiban comes out in December. I know Joker's out.
I can't wait for it. I think when Ichiban comes out, I'll probably actually buy the game. But one thing that I am worried about is that Tommy, you're the Mario Kart defender. Willow, you're the Sonic Racing defender. I might end up being the Kirby Air Riders ride or die.
I mean, fair enough, yeah.
After those, like, especially the last direct that just came out, oh my god, that game looks amazing.
All the cars are alive? Oh, word? Like, what? It looks fun. Fuck. I lost my train of thought a little. I guess I would call this much better a multiplayer game than which I think goes for any kart racer. But when I was between bouts of throwing up, I was playing this with used mugs at Willow's at your place, and I think it's much more fun to play with humans as opposed to computers that'll throw a bunch of items immaculately and like fuck up your day. No, I'm excited for Air Riders as well. It is kind of
we're gonna if we're in the racing game renaissance, maybe they'll bring back Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh,
because they're not bringing back F-Zero.
No, they're not. It's gonna be Diddy Kong Racing first.
I mean, with Bonanza being so successful, I could a fella can dream. I'd really like that. Oh man. Well, like, the first Air Ride, I say this all the time, the first Air Ride is a tech demo. I think the production time of that was like, what, 3.5 months? Like,
it's like like the UI is basically Super Smash Bros. Melee.
No, exactly. It's the Sakurai font and everything. Oh man. No, I don't mean to like leave a bad take, because I do like Sonic Racing. I think that I think it's a 10 out of 10 like Sonic fan service machine, and I don't say that dismissively. Like fucking Zavok and Zaz heads rise up, and every character has like a victory dance and a victory jingle at the end of the cup, and bells and whistles like that fucking are so fun to me. you know what? It just needed another mode where you can listen to mellow bossa nova of Mario tunes and drive around a farm as a cow, in my opinion.
Yeah, if there was a cow in Sonic, then it would be over.
Dairy the steer.
Yeah, exactly.
Dav, you've been watching Murder Drones. I don't have a good segue for that. You just have to fucking explain yourself.
Do you even know what Murder Drones is?
I saw an old forum that I circle back to sometimes. Before I knew what it was, I just saw someone put in the shout box, anyone here heard of Murder Drones? And I thought we were talking about, like, airstrikes on Gaza or something.
Like real murder drones?
You're just like, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I was kind of like, why are we talking about it? And I think I've seen, like, students at my school wear, like, shirts of it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, I guess to trampoline off of that talking point, Murder Drones dares to ask the question, what if those weapons of mass destruction that we use in the Middle East were fuckable? So, I recently decided to, out of morbid curiosity, binge The Amazing Digital Circus up to its current episode, and found myself pleasantly surprised by it, and I know that's gonna... we'll talk about The Amazing Digital Circus someday, if it ever wraps up the season/series, but it's coming out at a snail's pace right now.
For all the... I like to dogpile and, like, join the flack. I am open to the idea, like, of it being good. I don't...
It's not great, but it's not bad. It's pretty good. It has some moments that are genuinely funny, and we'll go into more detail on that when I toast or roast it, whatever it turns out to be later on. But I have a policy of not toasting or roasting anything that is incomplete.
Yeah.
So we'll circle back to that in like 2 years, who knows. Anyway, Murder Drones is a series I decided to pick up after I caught up with Digital Circus because it was similarly produced by Glitch Productions. It's an earlier series by them, created by Liam Vickers, and it's insanely popular, and what I had heard about it is that it is out in its completion, like start to finish, the story is over, and that really appealed to me, so I wanted to check it out. And so here's the basic plot of the series. It's a sci-fi horror comedy about a distant planet, and on this planet is entirely just this population of robots known as worker drones. Initially, their purpose was just to mine the planet of its resources for humanity, but some sort of disaster happened and wiped out all the organic life that was on that planet, and it left the drones kind of to continue on independently, as they were not continuing to receive any guidance from Earth, so they kind of became their own, like, civilization there. But eventually, 3 particularly violent drones called disassembly drones, or nicknamed the titular murder drones, show up on the planet, and they start just hunting down all the worker drones who are still there, which leads all the worker drones to retreat to an underground bunker, where now they just live in hiding, trying to sort of live normal, almost human-like lives. Like, a lot of them have jobs and go to school and stuff. But it's so much is left open as to, like, how they have, like, some of them have parents, and some of them seem to be different ages from the others. I have no idea how these drones reproduce or age at all when they're all robots, but...
Well, do they have to hide that they're robots from, like, the people they interact with?
No, because the planet is entirely inhabited by robots.
Oh, okay. So, okay, I thought you meant, like, they intercepted human life with nothing else to do.
No, they were invented by humans to basically just be, like, their slaves, and they were given, like, super high levels of consciousness. Like, they are very much sentient and feel. They're basically people, but with robot bodies. and they express themselves in very human ways. Like the protagonist, she's a worker drone named Uzi Doorman, called Doorman because her father is like the guy who's responsible for making and repairing all the doors in the colony.
That's Stranding ball.
Yeah, and it's like it's a very typical plot of like, oh, her father wants her to be the next door person and take care of the doors, but she wants to do something else. Her style is very much that of like an angsty emo teenage girl. Like she's got like the purple beanie and like the tights and just all the sort of typical like.
That's the character I've seen on shirts, definitely.
Yeah, she's the main character. She's the one that most of the audience is probably going to relate to because most of the audience is going to be teenagers. And you know, all the drones have their own ways of like expressing themselves. They have this same like basic, almost like more humanoid astrobot look to them, but with like clothes and hair and stuff put on top of that.
Are any of them green by chance?
Yeah, probably. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but I'm
getting
sure
every green character I can for the fucking Green Party.
The fucking Green Party. I don't...
Wait, isn't that like a political party, the Green Party?
Yeah, it is.
And they're like, what, environment forward?
Yeah.
They pretend to be.
Fair, okay. So Mega Victory Bell is like posturing environmental values for fiscal conservatism, and so is Jet the Hawk, I suppose.
Yes, it's them and Jill Stein. They're all working together.
Jill Sorry, continue.
But anyway, since we're on this point, I'll say that I do kind of like the base drone design here. I think that they're very expressive and kind of neat looking. The problem that we run into with this character design is that everybody, despite having very different like styles and ways of expressing themselves, kind of looks the same. And so there are a lot of poorly framed shots in this show where it will show like a character's face reacting to something, and it'll take a while, if at all, for me to figure out who I'm looking at. Until they like start talking or something to make it a little bit more clear. And this is especially a problem with the murder drones themselves. The three of them really look the same. Uzi does befriend one of the murder drones, the male one. His name is N. And he's kind of a little bit more friendly than the other two murder drones. He's, you know, they're all kind of bloodlusty, and they just like they sort of seem to like drink the blood of the worker drones that they kill, and that they seem to be very driven by that as like an insatiable hunger sort of deal. But they also can be chill to an extent, as is sort of displayed with N, who is just more friendly and does work with Uzi to do something. And here's where the real problem of the show comes into play. This series very quickly goes off the rails, and for the most part, it just doesn't make any sense at all. I think you will have an equal sort of time with this if you were to like watch this head on, completely focused, or if you were to like open up your phone or play Fortnite on another screen or something. Because genuinely the storytelling is so poorly done that it's like just this is an 8-episode series, and that is the entire series, like start to finish. It does conclude in the last episode, and it still feels like there are a couple episodes where they just kind of waste time. Like episode 3, they're going to prom. Episode 4, they do like a camping episode, and the murder drones are like the camp counselors, and I cannot possibly wrap my head around why they're doing this. There is no clear like through line from episode to episode of anything that's happening. and you're often just kind of trying your best to piece together why anything is happening the way it is or how they got into the situation they're in. It feels like every single episode is missing something major in between, and as far as I can tell, there isn't like any supplemental reading or anything. It's just complete nonsense for the most part.
It sounds like they like want to be a slice of life school show, but there's also like lore, and they aren't really balancing that super well.
Pretty much. The last like 4 episodes, I think, for their credit, are a lot better at staying focused on the plot. And the last like 3 episodes are definitely the highest rated of the series. And I can see why. I do think that another thing to this series' credit overall is that the animation and the production quality just like skyrockets in the last few episodes. I think because of the success of Digital Circus, because I think that's around the time that came out.
So this was finishing up concurrently with the start of Digital Circus.
Kinda, yeah. The last episode of this, I think, came out like about a year ago now.
Oh, okay.
But all the episodes are spaced out pretty far. Like the first episode was 2021.
Oh Jesus, alright.
It's very all over the place. And it's I said this in my review on Serialized. Something I don't feel in good conscience I can totally fault this show for is that it's very, very cringy. And like in a very typical like I'll go to it's a Tumblr fan fiction sort of way. Like when I was watching this show, I had this weird feeling in the back of my head that if I were 10 years younger, this would be the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like
if it's by and like again, like I'm sure Digital Circus is better than I think it is, and people are gonna you should embrace the cringe and not find if you feel it, you feel it. Like, sorry, I don't want to feel that way when I watch a thing. But yeah, I do get just like the very like middle school edgy character to put on a shirt vibe from both of the shows.
Yeah, it's very much more of like if you're into like Jeff the Killer creepypastas and shit, but like for the new age, like if a character doing a creepy smile and saying they're about to go crazy is like the coolest thing you can think of, you're gonna fucking love this show.
We're all twisted here.
Yeah. And again, we're not going to get into the Digital Circus conversation here, but I'll say that my thoughts on it so far do kind of dip into this a little bit, but more so in the way that Digital Circus is kind of subversive of it. It's not so much embrace the cringe as it is like there's not a whole lot going on. But this one is very like Murder Drones very, very, very much embraces its like cringe identity, especially the last episode. Which, honestly, I'll say it, the last episode of Murder Drones is pretty good. It's kind of enjoyable because the ultimate, like, villain of Murder Drones, I think, is honestly pretty cool. It's like, a broken clock is right twice a day. If you do enough of this, like, weird, cringy horror shit, eventually one of those characters is gonna hit. And I do think that Sin kinda does. Okay. And spoilers for Murder Drones. I'm roasting it, so I don't really care. The ultimate enemy of Murder Drones, the final antagonist, is a worker drone who is effectively like the little sister of N, who is like the nice murder drone. Who, as we sort of find out as the show goes on, was like kind of a defective worker drone. Because all the murder drones at one point were originally like worker drones that were just reprogrammed to kill the other worker drones. And she was just like treated very poorly by the humans, and it she basically becomes like a rogue AI who disguises herself as a human from Earth coming to like check in on things. But as we sort of find out, she destroyed Earth and every single human on it, and is just kind of coming over to spread the AI virus across the universe effectively. And we see her kind of like wearing the skin of this human that we saw in a flashback before, and
That's
does
rad.
she has she has this voice that is not even like human and is like a lot more like I guess in the German dub she has like a full on, they just do like GLaDOS, and I think that the English version of that is pretty similar. I think that there is a voice actor behind it, but it's kind of hard to tell. But that does make it a lot like cooler, I think, that it's like a robot that sounds like a robot.
Yeah.
And she's just able to do a whole bunch of like freaky shit, and it's like she's really fun to watch, and I think that's pretty cool.
That does sound pretty hard. Wearing skin is always good.
Yeah, she's like wearing the skin of a human and like struggling to walk around and look normal, and it is honestly pretty admirable. I think they did a good job with that design. The problem, though, is that there's not really any tension, because every time a character seems to die definitively in this show, they just show up again. This isn't even a problem of like a character dies and they're miraculously resurrected later by some bullshit means. This is like a character is like
rebuilt.
What? Not even that. It's like, so for example, N, at one point, Sin goes up to N and literally tears his guts out of his body and starts just ripping him limb from limb and just destroys everything from the head down. And then just like a few seconds later, Uzi like drags him away from her, and he just like stands up and they just like run away.
Oh.
Huh.
And that happens so much in this show, where a character will seemingly be completely destroyed and then they'll just like walk it off.
And they'll just be on like robot logic, where it's like, he's fine.
Yeah, it's like, he's not a human, so it's whatever. He's totally fine. It just completely kills all the tension for me. And so like the horror stuff is cool, but it doesn't really work when none of your characters will ever die to anything at all. So yeah, that's my problems laid out. I do admire that last episode for the antagonist, and for the fact that the final battle against said antagonist involves Uzi taking out an iPod effectively and playing a Nightcore song. And
my God.
doing everything short of yelling, "I am cringe, but I am free." I don't hate that. It's funny. It's fine. I would have gone fucking feral if I was 14 for this. And the one big pro that I will throw to this show is the character of V. Good job with that character. I don't need to explain myself.
I'm gonna regret it if I Google this.
If you Google V from Murder Drones, you will understand I don't need to explain myself any further. Good job with that character. I appreciate that.
I feel like I don't even need to Google it, and I already know what's going to come up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. So I Googled just like I took off the V. Just looking at the character designs, I see what you mean with them being confusing. Because even seeing them like lined up, it's a little like, oh, okay, you've all got roughly the same thing going on.
Yeah, especially the three murder drones themselves. They look so similar to each other. It's so hard to tell who's who at any time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you loved that show, David.
Yeah.
I know, but people still fucking do. They just released a music video with the Living Tombstone like a week ago, and it already has like it already has more than 7 million fucking views. This show is huge.
Living Tombstone, Murder Drones, what else? Danganronpa is somewhere in the mix there, I think. Fucking, let's bacon this shit up. Let's just like get it out the fucking window.
Fantastic. It's so not for us. But you know what? Sometimes I'll dip my toes in there just to see what happens.
Yeah, that's a good thing to remember. It's just not. We are adults pushing 30, so you know what? It is what it is.
We're supposed to be watching like Judge Joe Brown and Dr. Phil while we go to our factory jobs and come home to our wife and two beautiful children. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Fuck that. I'm not bringing children into this world. This world sucks.
Yeah.
Exactly. So instead, I'm gonna do what my children would be doing right now, and I'm watching Murder Drones. So that's how I stick it to man.
Is that why we watch Bluey every Wednesday for like a solid?
No,
I
that's
don't
for
know,
everybody.
years. So,
Bluey is for
yeah.
everybody. Don't you dare
Yeah.
besmirch Bluey. Bluey's for everybody.
You know, do either of you feel like this has been like kind of a soft October? Like the spookiness has not been
I
quite
was
as there.
just talking to Jay about that it feels like there's not really any like there's no good restaurants. There's like no like fun scary movies coming out. Like it's
Yeah,
just
no,
completely
exactly.
dead.
It's an October toast and roast, and we talked about good fortune. That's my, because sometimes you get just like a soft Halloween where it just does, and a soft Christmas happens sometimes too, and it's just like, well, here we are.
Well, I got burnt out because like the last few years, I tried to go out of my way to pretty much only consume like horror content during October, but this year I was just a little too burnt out, so I did
That's
it a few
fair.
things, but yeah.
No, I always try to do 31 Nights of Halloween, which is
I
imaginary.
cannot do that. I can't. It's just too much.
Well, if I count, not necessarily, like I'll count movie night where we watch two as two separate films. Like,
Sure, yeah.
yeah. That's my segue to say I did watch a truly amazing scary movie that I'm pumped to talk about. That is George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. So you may know George A. Romero as like one of the biggest auteur directors of horror, and he made, he's well known for zombie movies, and the Dead trilogy is Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and then Day of the Dead. And we've watched all three. Willow, we've watched Dawn of the Dead. You picked that for movie night once, and that movie
I think
fucking
so,
rocks.
yeah.
That's a good movie. Night of the Living Dead is pretty good. Day of the Dead makes them both look like fucking Barney. It is like an amazing fucking... It is, I think, neck and neck with 28 Days Later for my favorite zombie movie. And it is the kind of movie you watch and it's like, oh, this is where half of fiction came from. It's like Dead Rising comes from this and Walking Dead comes from this. And it should be ashamed of its malformed children because it makes them both look terrible. It is, I'm trying to think of even where to start. It focuses heavily on this bunker of survivors in a zombie apocalypse. And to be clear, when I described Romero's trilogy, it doesn't like have interconnected characters. It's just, I feel like it's generally accepted they may take place in the same universe, but it's just like 3 zombie movies, and the only connection is Romero made them. So it takes place in this bunker of survivors. They've gone kind of military, and what I find really fascinating about it is I can best describe it that all the survivors. It is a movie about surviving alongside people that you do not see eye to eye with in this kind of situation. You have the main protagonist, and she is kind of butting heads with the main antagonist. I think his name is Captain Rhodes. And I think when I looked up and down the actors for this movie, it's no one you've heard of super significantly. But Captain Rhodes, I think, is like one of the great B-movie villains. He is such a fucking bastard, and he has the classic like post-zombie apocalypse military of not who's qualified to hold guns, but who's willing to hold guns, and they're all kind of fuck-ups and like hooligans, But it's also like somebody has to hold the guns. And it kind of also centers around this scientist who has been keeping zombie specimens. And he has this one, and he's putting them through tests, trying to learn more about them. And there's a lot of discussion, of course, surrounding, the Captain Rhodes and the militants really just want to kill the zombies and be done with it. And what really resonated with about this movie for me is that if I were in this post-zombie apocalypse, I'd find it hard to disagree with the notion of like, yeah, I don't want to be around a fucking zombie. Let's just get it out of here. Like, I get the value, but also I'm not taking that risk. It's not a movie where the villains are villainous because they're anti-zombie. There's good people in this who hate zombies, It's not like as black and white as that. It's the question of, would you shoot an innocent person for a chance for your safety over a zombie? They feel so strongly in their preservation and their ideals of just keeping the zombies out at any cost that they'll use their military power. They have the weapons, they have, the procedures, and they're gonna like try and strong arm their way into, further control over this bunker. The scientist character is finding that when he puts just like everyday human objects in front of the zombie, it will start to respond with like sense memory. And this movie kind of toes the line of like anthropomorphizing the zombies a bit too much, but I think it treads it just right. There's a fucking amazing bit where he puts just like a razor blade in front of the zombie, like a shaver, and he picks it up. And, whenever and I think it's called, the zombie's named like Bubba or Bub, and he's kind of this, character somewhat, and he just starts to like wave the shaver across his face like he's shaving, not intentionally. He still has like a vacant look on his face. He just has that sense memory, and you get and he gradually just starts peeling the skin off his face, which is like eerie but funny, but also like telling of what he quote unquote remembers. Again, and they'd say that when zombies are wandering the streets, they'll crawl into cars just based on pure instinct, and they won't like drive like actually efficiently, but they'll just like hit the gas and veer off because they have a vague sense memory of driving a car. And it's, oh my god, it's a deeply fascinating way to take zombie, because you have like Walking Dead, they put a collar around a zombie and train it, but this professor character is just very efficient, and again they just toe the line nicely, where he gives Bub a little lump of dead meat every time he does what he's supposed to, and he like gradually domesticates this zombie, and he empties out a pistol of its bullets and hands it over, and Bubba can like efficiently point it, pull the trigger, it has no bullets, everyone's fucking like, oh my fucking god, and then he like numbly salutes, like he was in the army in his life. It's fucking so cool. And of course that scares all the militants fucking shitless, and war essentially breaks out. Romero was like, well, I don't know if he's alive actually, I don't know if he's basically the king of...
He passed away. Yeah.
Thank you. He was the king of fucking gore effects. The kills in this look fucking insane. They are exploding heads like watermelons. I don't want to, give away too much, but the zombie attacks are so fucking brutal. He does astonishingly cool shit with, like, zombie hands entering a frame. Like, there's just a shot of a character, like, almost cartoonishly screaming down the center of a camera as, like, a halo of zombie arms are stretching into frame. And, like, that claustrophobia is so fucking rad, and it's so fucking cool. I think that if you can we're posting this pretty close to Halloween. If you can squeeze in one more scary movie, I can't recommend this one enough. I watch, like I said, I try to watch as many scary and or Halloween adjacent movies as I can every October. This one has been like the crown jewel of my discoveries. It fucking rules.
Yeah, I remember watching like all of those movies, like all of the Blank of the Dead, with my dad in like middle school, and I don't remember a lot of them, but I do remember that every time like we watched one, I was like, oh hell yeah, it's time. I do gotta revisit them for sure.
They're exciting. They're good. Like, we watched Dawn of the Dead, and that one's in a mall. That's like the zombie mall movie. That's pretty fucking iconic in of itself. Night of the Living Dead is a little weird because I think it's the first of the three, and that one is like, I'd say 80% survivors in a barricaded house. And what I respect about it is it's a lot of environmental storytelling of they turn on a radio and you hear a lot of what's going on, and the people kind of grow paranoid and turn on each other. Then, right in the last 10 minutes, everything goes to shit. The zombies get in. So that one's more of a slow burn. I think Day of the Dead is like just right. Like they hit the sweet spot. It fucking rocks.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I love Romero. You know, it's older. It's 85, I believe. So and it's pretty low budget to my recollection. Not in a bad way, but I also love how the zombies in Romero movies, they just look like people with like green, purple makeup on. But it does kind of show, like, it's hard to articulate. There's a life in their eyes that makes them kind of more horrifying. Like, you believe these are people that used to be alive. Because the makeup isn't like, they're not piling on scabs, but they do look pretty gross. No one did it like him. I think it's fucking great. If you can get one more scary movie in, that's the one. Right. Are we ready for the news?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Right. So, the Minecraft Movie 2 has locked the same day as Simpsons 2. And I said in the last podcast that Spider Pig would bury Chicken Jockey. I think someone heard me and is taking that as a challenge.
We'll see. We gotta get a new Madagascar on the same day and see the real.
Wait, really?
No, I said we have
to get Afro Circus in the mix
Circus
there.
Afro and fight against this Chicken Jockey and Spider Pig and see who wins.
K-pop Demon Hunters 2 out in time.
I don't know if K-pop Demon Hunters had a big like marketing earworm though.
No, yeah. The audiences would go nuts and the people working there would be fucking miserable. Though.
Oh, it would be the end of movie theaters forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be over. New York Comic Con had like lots of small stuff just to knock out. Matt Pat and Megan Fox are in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Because Matt Pat is like
Awesome.
like a politician, not a politician, but like speaking to Congress now.
Yeah.
Good for. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, though. He's not like a chud, at least as far as I know.
No.
Tiny things. Like, we don't follow comics closely, but it's just cool to hear there's like DCKO, which is like a story focused around DC characters fighting each other at War World, and a lot of the art has this fighting game motif, and there's all these crazy crossovers where they just showed that like Homelander and Sub-Zero and I think Red Sonja and a few other characters are in it. And we've also got something called Spider-Man and his venomous friends coming along on the Marvel side of things. And I just think it's cool that there's like cool sounding event comics rolling out and not Major Character Death 58 that we seem to be stuck in for a long time. Willow, you watched Daredevil Born Again, right?
That is correct.
You're a big like Daredevil fan. Did you hear the news? Kristen Ritter is returning as Jessica Jones for season 2 of Daredevil.
I didn't hear that news, but makes sense. Cool.
I mean, yeah. Invincible had a panel. We had a new teaser. Burger World is fucking wrecked. We know Lee Pace, who is Ronin in the MCU, and the lead in one of my favorite films, The Fall, is going to be the big bad of Invincible, called Thrag, who we finally meet in the next season.
He's also in The Running Man.
That's right,
Oh,
yeah. He's going to be in that, yeah. Just got my ticket for that one today, if y'all want to take a peek at that one, if you're as pumped as I am.
Yeah.
They also revealed Cecil is in Invincible Versus, and I'm kind of laughing because everyone was like, isn't every fighter gonna be a Viltrumite? And Cecil is here with just like a big-ass gun in the fucking Reanimen. That game's, I think, gonna be rad. AMC and Netflix are talking about doing bigger theatrical releases. I think they're upset that they sat on the K-pop Demon Hunters Gold. They're gonna re-release it on Halloween, and I think we're gonna get K-pop Demon Hunters until the end of time. There's also talk of pretty robust theatrical rollouts for the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel and for the Greta Gerwig Narnia movie. And if AMC has their fingers directly in that, there might be some commitment. The potential exclusivity kind of makes me nervous, but like, more movies in theaters is a good thing, as opposed to being doomed to background noise on streaming. There was a new Catherine Bigelow movie this week, and no one's fucking talking about it, but also because it's a little bad. Willow, what do you think of the new character in Tekken? Miary Zao? I kind of don't know how to say her name.
I'm pretty neutral on her, to be honest. I think it's a cool idea, but and I like the cool like spear thing. I think overall it is like, it's a cool idea for a Tekken character, but it's also not something I look for in a Tekken character. You know what I mean?
She does have Tekken girl design, where it's big titties and the same face as every other Tekken girl, which is kind of disappointing. But and I'm always like, I don't like magic on my Tekken, but I was really struck by how like acrobatic she is. I think the animal motif is cool. She's got like the lemur tail going on. And I think like chameleon moves. Your pumped FighterZ is like resuscitated though, right?
FighterZ, 100%.
Dragon Ball Fighter, yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
we just finished Dragon Ball Super this week. They revealed Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku. First brand new character added to Fighters for the first time in like, what, 3 years or so?
It might have been like over 3.
And there was a pretty big patch, which has people wondering if the game is just like back now somehow, and if we're gonna get like characters again.
It would be nice. I do like, I don't know, I haven't seen Daima, so like I can't speak on this, but I thought it was kind of a big bummer that Sparking Zero had an initial battle pass that's just all Daima shit. I hope they don't do that again here.
No, I don't see that necessarily happening. Sparking Zero really dropped the ball with its DLC.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess like I am hoping for more DLC beyond Saiyan 4, and I think this shows that like genuinely the interest for the game has not diminished at all. But I'd love to see I don't know, I'd love for like the DLC to maybe cover some more movie villains, or like some like not side characters, but like less important characters from like Original Z, or I guess Super doesn't really.
Android 13's my guy. I'd be really happy if we had him.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I mean it's a great day to be a fan of both fighting games and Dragon Ball.
Absolutely. Did y'all get a chance to look at the first behind-the-scenes look at Wildwood, the next film by Laika?
I've seen some of the like stop motion stuff, and it looks incredible.
This played in front of the Paranorman remaster, which I caught yesterday.
Oh, okay. No, they've ostensibly made like a fucking gigantic rig for this bird character that looks just like absolutely fucking insane. I don't know I just don't know where to begin describing just the craftsmanship they put into this. And I could eat these words. I'm really, really, really happy. This movie just looks relatively, I don't want to jump right to like self-serious, but was the last Laika movie The Missing Link?
I think it was Kubo, right?
One or the other. Kubo is like pretty cool. The Missing Link is just kitty and dumb, in my opinion. So I'm really happy this one is taking itself it's like just got this grandeur to it that I'm really pumped about. And it's apparently, barring any delays, they want to do it next year is when they want to release it. So I'd really welcome that because the movie slate for next year has some cool stuff, but like a little dry. I'm a little concerned about it. Speaking of which, okay, kind of the big scary thing is that Warner Brothers is currently for sale. I'm a little puzzled by why that is, because they've actually kind of been knocking out of the park all year. Superman, Weapons, Sinners, F1, all like surprise hits beyond anyone's expectation. One battle after another, kind of underperforming financially, but winning a lot of goodwill within like artistic circles. So I guess the Discovery merger just took its toll, and they're finally going belly up and seeking inquisitions for purchase. What's scary about
from what
this?
I've heard, this
Sorry.
isn't as big of a deal as people are making it out to be, though.
Oh, you don't say.
I've heard, like, because I know that the big headline was going around of like they're up for sale for X amount of money. But I heard other like journalists saying this is not irregular for them. They typically have like an asking price up of some sort.
Interesting. Okay, so so is this, because maybe I'm being dumb, is this similar to like Disney buying Fox, or like would another company purchasing WB mean they like own all of its IP? Maybe I'm not following.
Objectively, if a big company like Disney or something were to purchase WB, it would be a net negative.
Because that towards monopoly, yeah.
Yeah, more monopolization in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't like. I think that the main point people are making is that like it's not really new that they're for sale. It's just like going around now, kind of what that price is.
I see. Okay. So they've been okay. Because I think what's also kind of spurned it is that they've recently turned down Paramount 2 or 3 times, and maybe this is things, algorithms designed to make me mad, which they are. The word is that Donald Trump really wants Paramount to buy Warner Brothers because, between Sinners, Superman, One Battle After Another, they've been like very, a lot of their big hits have been socially liberal, and Paramount is like, the Nazis in Trump's pocket. And I'm probably, I don't know, this is probably going to blow over and be not that big a deal. I don't know. But yeah, if Disney bought Warner Brothers, I think people would get really annoying and be like, oh boy, Superman can be in the Avengers, and a ton of people would lose their jobs. So what else is new? I don't know. Nintendo Pictures releases their first animated short, Close to You. So they released this, and it was a baby. You both watched? Did you both watch it?
I did not, but I saw some
Yeah.
like clips of it.
And Dav, you've seen it?
Yeah, I did see the like original version of it, and then I think
Yes.
the like alternate version was posted on the app or something, and I didn't catch that one.
Right. No, it's a baby and his like belongings are like moving magically. And I did kind of like that they posted it kind of obliquely and mysteriously. We don't know what the fuck is going on, what's moving this baby's pacifier off the floor or whatever. And then they wait a day or two and it's Pikmin all along because they're invisible to the naked eye. And it does seem like they're trying to like move out of the mold of like every release. This isn't hinting at like a new game. It's just like, hey, you might see short films of our characters from now on as part of Nintendo Pictures, and they want to be a multimedia empire, which, like, Pokemon's been kind of that for. There's been Pokemon short films all the day they want.
Yeah, but Pokemon is arguably pretty distinct from Nintendo since there's like the Pokemon company and they're
Yeah.
Game
pretty
Freak.
independent.
Right. So yeah, and so we might just see, and it would be kind of, it is kind of a nice way to like gauge interest in. I don't know if they do a F-Zero or a Star Fox short, and we have that as a platform to yell about how badly we want another game. I mean, it's just another form of marketing. I don't know. Did you have strong thoughts about this, David?
Just that it is interesting that Nintendo Pictures has been around for so long, just kind of working mostly in tandem with other production companies on other things, and that now they've released like this is full on a Nintendo Pictures short film, and the animation is like not as bad as like Studio Ghibli's attempt at a 3D animated movie, but it's obviously not on the level of like Illumination or something.
Sure.
But it's just kind of neat to see them, I guess, uh, take a crack at it, and we're getting possibly, potentially, a sneak peek at like what the future of that company could be. I mean, who knows? Maybe 10 years from now, Nintendo Pictures will be fully producing Nintendo films, but I guess we'll see how it goes.
Tell me about Halo Campaign Evolved.
Okay. Halo Campaign Evolved is uh so here's the significance of this. It's a remake of the original Halo Combat Evolved, like the biggest Xbox game of all time. Um, this is releasing on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation 5. And that
So
is
it's
fucking insane.
Let's go.
it's Xbox officially doing a Sega and being like waving the white flag of console wars.
Basically, this to me is like the death trumpets for Xbox as a video game console brand, because they have, ever since that fateful fucking day where they announced the Xbox One as basically a TV package, uh, Xbox has been on a steep, rapid fucking decline. And there are still loyalists to that brand who still get all those consoles. My dad is one of them. I am no longer one of them. I enjoyed the Xbox 360 a lot, but that's really the bet. Like that's peak Xbox.
I had a
Um,
360, and that's the only Xbox I've ever had.
it was the Xbox 360 like performed better than the PlayStation 3, like objectively on a technical level, and it just had a much better like community and stuff. It had a ton of like exclusives. Xbox Live worked very well. I have a lot of really good memories playing on Xbox 360 with like friends in middle school and stuff, and they just really failed to keep that brand alive and to keep being like actually worthy competition in the console wars. PlayStation 4 and 5 both just fucking ate Xbox for lunch. Um, and yeah, I think that we are, if we even see another Xbox console come out, it's probably going to be the last one, because from the sounds of it, from what little they have said about the next generation of Xbox, it's basically just going to be a PC.
I was gonna say, like, I would just seek out any Xbox exclusive or anything to that effect on Steam or on my Steam Deck.
Yeah, and like PlayStation kind of does that now, but they retain their exclusivity for like at least a year before they go to PC. And they do a pretty like, I don't necessarily think that PlayStation's exclusives are great. They seriously lack variety and creative direction, but they do still come out and they still happen. Xbox had like Hi-Fi Rush, and then they closed Tango Gameworks, And that is just kind of, I think, a good microcosm of how they treat their brands and their subdivisions. They don't give a shit about actually putting anything out that's worth playing anymore, and I think they're about to die because of it.
Yeesh. Well,
Damn.
I make this promise to you, my fellow Americans. I will not eat a single morsel of food till the Xbox brand is dead and buried.
Well,
Yeah, the
have fun with
Xbox brand
that.
is dead and buried.
Slow news month. I think we pretty much covered everything. Would you all agree?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, next it's almost. I mean, holidays is usually a big rush of like cool stuff because we know they'll show what's coming in the new year. Get people. Families love going to the movies around the holidays, so they'll stack some interesting trailers. I think. And of course, the time-honored tradition, the Toasty Awards, is also well on its way. So I'll be eating plenty of food because the Xbox is dead and buried. And I'm Tommy.
And I'm gonna be eating a lot of Xbox because the food is dead and buried, and I'm Willow.
I'll be eating a lot of insulin until I am dead and buried, and I'm Dav.
Good night, everybody.